What?
I sent you an email. The measuring spoon set, the photo you sent me, is that
Okay.
oak on the handles?
Okay.
It looks like oak.
Okay.
Is it oak?
Oh, I don't know. It looks like oak. It's oak.
Okay. It looks very oak-like.
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what pictures I sent you.
Well, it's
Picked out
it's a
some that
lovely
was
little
on
set of
my
measuring
iPad.
spoons. It's a lovely little set of measuring spoons, and what I really like about it is you burned a line, so as the size goes up,
Oh,
each one
yeah,
has
that's
an has an added line. That's brilliant. I
yeah.
love
Yeah, I don't even think I have that set anymore. I think I sold that set.
it. Well, I'm going to call it oak, and if it's wrong, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the
There
Facebook
you
page.
go. There you go.
No, that
I was
wouldn't
having
happen.
some trouble with loading them and getting them to you, so I wasn't able to even
Uh,
write anything about them, you know?
yeah, well,
So,
it's a nice set. I think it looked very good.
thank you. I really don't care for making the measuring spoons because you got to make four of the same thing, you know? I'm not real good at making matching sets, you know? So,
That's why you make 8, and out of the 8, you'll find 4 that match. There's a method to it.
well,
Or use 4 different woods.
yeah, I've tried that before too. I've done that before too, yes. That seemed to work out better.
Yeah.
Yep. I think each one of my projects, everything is unique. Nothing's the same.
That makes it special.
Yes. Yes.
I agree.
Yep. I've got, let's see, what have I got? 3, 4. I've got 4 picture frames, 3 mirrors, and a platter to show tonight. Everything's different.
Wow, you've been busy.
I've been busy.
Yes, she has.
Yeah. Yep. And I called ahead and got on the list before the meeting started too. Ah,
Well, I got a couple things to show, and one of them's in Safety Sue's parameter because it's a failure that if I hadn't been wearing my shield would have been a bad news.
Oh
ooh.
boy.
Interesting piece.
Bowl broke in half,
Mm.
and
What
part of
broken-
it
What-
bowl
what-
broke in half while
Okay.
turning it, and hit me in the forehead.
Oh,
And there's no band-aids on his forehead. How about that?
I'm
Thank
looking. I
heaven.
was looking. I was
I
looking.
had my Trend Air Shield Pro on,
Yeah.
I love
it-
mine.
and it hit up here
Yep.
Yeah. That's a
didn't
good size target. That's a good
and
size
didn't
target.
damage
Dale.
it at all. So I'll show you the
Nice
bowl
target.
when I show my other stuff. Reinforce the fact that if you're only wearing safety glasses, you're being dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love my safety shield. That Trend, love that thing.
I do too, because I'm not getting all that crap up my nose. My
Yeah.
lungs are a lot better since I bought that.
Dale,
Great.
Dale, do you know why
Yeah.
it come apart? Do you know why it come apart?
I think I got it a little too thin. I was going to embellish it, and I started to put some lines to as the border where I wanted to embellish it, and my tool that I was putting the lines in with it skirted on me and made some marks I didn't want. So I was trying to take those marks out first, and that's when it blew apart. And I think it was too thin.
Hmm.
Because
The reason
because it's only about an eighth of an inch. The walls are only about an eighth of an inch thick, and the bottom's about a half an inch thick. And I did not see any cracks. There were no visible cracks in it.
You were doing So you were doing the lines after you'd already hollowed it out?
Yeah,
So
I probably should have done all the embellishment and everything before I hollowed it out.
that is correct. So with it being
That's-
hollowed out, the walls were flexing.
Yep.
And so, it's not concentric now as you're spinning it and you're trying to use your gouge to make your lines. And so it caught from the wall flexing, and that's what created the initial skate back.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you went to try and take those out, you're applying a little bit more pressure with your gouge. Probably got it at the wrong presentation, and it really, really caught because
Yep.
the wall are not supported with the center mass, and that's going to happen 9 times out of 10 to anyone that tries to go back
Yeah,
and do
And I hadn't decided how I wanted to embellish it until after I'd hollowed it out. I wasn't sure how I
Okay.
wanted, if
Yeah.
I wanted to embellish it or just leave it plain until I had
Yeah.
hollowed it out. And I decided this cherry, I kind of decided this cherry didn't have enough. It was just too plain and I wanted to do something with it. And I should have decided that before I hollowed it out.
Indeed.
Live and learn.
Sure.
Yeah, well,
sure.
that's why I asked the question, because normally an accident isn't actually an accident; it's caused by something.
Yeah.
You know, whether that accident, you can call it an accident, but there has to be a reason for it. You know, a car crashes
Mhm.
on a road with ice. I'm not saying you can remove the ice, but ultimately, if you understand what has caused it in the first place, the likelihood is that it's not going to happen again. If you've got a piece of timber that you haven't been able to see a crack in, then realistically there was no way around it. But it, like Dane
Next
said,
time I want to do that, I'm going to put the lines in it and the
Yeah,
embellishment
well,
on the outside before I hollow it out.
it's one of them things that you kind of learn, over a period of time with anything. You almost
Yeah.
have to finish the outside before you start the inside.
Yep.
It's very difficult to create a shape on the outside, then turn it, then create a shape on the inside, then decide to, let's say, for example, flame burn the outside. You just end up with a bowl that warps very, very quickly.
Mhm.
Painting it, decorating it in any way, you've got very limited amount of room to be able to put it back onto the lathe to take away if you don't like it. Which is why we always say, get the base and the outside of the bowl complete, and then start looking at the inside of the bowl. I've heard that happen quite a lot, and I've seen it happen quite a lot where they've taken too much away, so there is no support in the middle, and yet they are complaining or not understanding why the tools aren't cutting. They're getting a ridge. Well, it's when I try to tell somebody it's because it's moving. But the wood's dry, it can't be moving. Yeah, I know that, but you've just ripped the guts out of it. It's got no guts left. Yeah, but it was dry when I started. So it can't have moved. It's moved. You've walked
Flexing,
away,
yeah.
it's moved. But some people don't grasp that if you take all of the center out, the outside ball is there is movement there and there's flex there. And I think that like Dane said, has probably created,
Mhm.
even a minor catch would blow a very, very thin ball up like that. You wouldn't even realize that you'd caught it the wrong way. What you've done is you've lifted the bevel off it, and bang.
Yep. Now that I think about it, that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Is the bowl was, because it's only about 1/8 of an inch thick, it wouldn't take much flex or a wrong presentation of a tool for it to blow up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I never hit that on switch on my lathe without that Trend Air Shield Pro on.
Mhm.
Even when I'm putting my sanding paste or whatever on it, I still have the Air Shield Pro with the face
Yeah,
mask on, because I might put enough pressure on the bowl then to cause it to flex enough to break
Well,
if
I've
I'm not
always,
careful.
um,
Plus, I
even
don't
when
want that
I've-
crap getting all over my glasses.
no, and even when I've gone out, when I go out and I do a demonstration, I always say this to people, and I hope I'm not speaking out of line, but safety is one of them things that you personally have to take care of. In England, we have a rule where we can have up to 2 pints of beer and get in a car. Now, some people would say, after a couple of pints of beer, I'm all right to drive. And other people would say, there's no way I'd have a drink and get into a car. That is exactly the same way as I see safety in wood turning. You can stand at your lathe, completely wrapped in cotton wool, with your air shield and your double bars wrapped around you, and everything else that you want to buy safety wise. But ultimately, it's your safety. You know how safe you want to be. If you want a dust-free environment, because we all know it hurts your lungs or gets onto your lungs, that's what you should be doing. And if you decide to stand there with no safety gear whatsoever, it's not my responsibility to criticize you. In exactly the same way as I would only criticize a driver that had had a lot to drink. As a passenger, I wouldn't get in his car. And as a passenger in your workshop, if I saw you doing something that was unsafe, I would tell you. And, I wouldn't be part of it. But I do think that the safety element is down to your personal responsibility and how far you want to take that. I will be totally honest. I have never worn a face shield. I have only ever worn glasses to protect my eyes. In 10 years of turning, I've had 2 things come off the lathe. And on both occasions, I have known they were coming and couldn't stop them. I have moved aside. The reason I don't wear an air shield is because I like to listen to what the lathe's telling me. And when I've got a big air shield on and a lot of noise going on, I can't hear what the lathe's telling me. So there's pros and cons. I like to listen to my lathe. So I have a pair of glasses on. I don't wear ear protectors, and I listen to what the lathe's telling me. And on the 2 occasions that I've had something come off my lathe, on both occasions, I've been able to move aside because I knew it was coming. There was nothing I could do about it. I had an option to go to my stop and walk across the piece, or just step aside and let it come off. So, I mean, that's why I was jumping in to sort of just to ask why it had happened, and you instantly know why it would happen, And I do think that the air shields and all the other have their place. I am not condoning not wearing any of that, but certainly with your safety, you go as far as you feel you want to. And then you're not going to say to somebody, well, you didn't tell me so. You didn't tell me so.
Yep.
Whereas if I wear my glasses and one night I come in and I'm like this, you'll all be able to say, well, we told you so.
Yep.
But I don't like wearing the big masks because I do listen to what my lathe's saying, and that might sound really stupid. But as I'm making a cut, it tells me don't cut any further. There's different tones on your lathe.
Yep.
And if there's a different noise, you can react to it.
You do know if you hear that click. If you're making a pass and you hear a click, don't say, "Oh, after this cut, I'm going to check it." Don't make the cut, because the click was the warning. The click was something moved. Something.
Yeah.
God did that for wood. He said, "Hey, look, wood, nice stuff. Let it move." And the biggest blow off I had, I heard it click, and I was stupid enough to make that one more pass, and it rung my bell. But my apprentice that I'm working with right now, Tommy, he had a simple question the other day. He said, "What can I do to get the wood from to quit doing this?" And I said, "What do you mean it does this?" He said, "Well, I finally turned something thin like you showed me." He said, "And then I stopped, I took a break, I came back, and it was all wobbly and all." And I said, "Okay, what do you mean you took a break?" And he was telling me, and I said, "You did everything wrong. You had a damp piece of wood, you turned it damp, which was pretty good, but then you left the lights on and you walked away and you left the fan on, right?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "So you put heat and dry on a piece of thin wood, and what happened?" God stepped in and said, "Let me show you. You know what he can do?" And that's what he did. And he said, "Yeah, my wife thinks it's cool. She wants to do another one just like it." I said, "Good luck with that, Tom. It is, you just got a freak, and it's okay. Leave it alone." But today we were reviewing some of his turning. I love talking to this young man. I just got him into this. When I gave him all my equipment, well, it's been a year now, and he's got everything set up. He showed me photographs of my one way. It's filthy. I mean, it is so dirty. It needs to be cleaned and wiped off and everything. I'm so proud of him. I mean, my baby's got sawdust all over and stuff, and but the bed's clean. But he practices on things and he makes these cuts. Now he says, "I made a walking bowl." And I said, "Where do you get this walking bowl stuff?" And I know he's talking about. There's a guy that's on Facebook. He's got a bowl. He put it up the other day as a walking bowl. It's a square bowl, turned out nicely, but the bottom of the bowl doesn't sit on a table. It sits on the 4 points. And he said, it's supposed to look like it's lifted, like it's walking. So it's a cool thing. Turn one with 3 legs. And I could see his brain working. And he says, "How would I hold that?" And I said, "You see, that's my challenge to you, bud, is how do you hold it? How do you get there? And this is not a saw project. It is a turning project. Let me know what you come up with." And I'm pretty sure the phone will ring in a couple hours and it'll say, "Okay, what if I," and that's the enjoyable part about doing this with him is he's now understanding what I'm talking about when the wood moves, it flexes. I mean, what you experienced with that bowl blowing up on you, most turners experience that someplace. I would think it happens to more people turning plates and platters than bowls, because once you get a plate or a platter down to a 1/4 inch or so, and it's a pretty wide piece, say you got a dish size 11 inches, it's going to get a wobble on it. And if you're experienced and you understand, you may be able to baffle the back of the piece. I'm talking about putting your hand or pad behind it. It takes a wobble out so you can make those cuts without getting that slap. And that's a tricky thing to do, because if it does crack, it's gonna eat something, one side or the other. So you either get the gouge or you get the fingers. But you'll see the warp come up. And we're talking about it I was talking about it last week. There was a guy that used to turn a wood that it's popular in the Northeast, and we get some down here, and I can't remember the name of it. But he would turn the plates really thin and then microwave them inside of a wet towel, and they would warp like crazy. And they were his showpieces. And he sold the heck out of them in this market because we didn't have anybody else doing any kind of art. So he found a way to take what God does to the wood, let it move and walk. It was a very oily wood, and it held the shape afterwards and didn't blow up so much. It just took a set and it had beautiful color into it. And I'm stressing my mind to think about what it's called, but people that can work with those things, when you go thin and you just, and also you throw another kink and it works. You said the bottom was about a 1/2 inch, the walls were thinner. the stress implied on the different movements of that. Remember, the bottom is trying to move and can't, and the sides are wanting to move and can. So you've got some opposing forces going on all at one time. So you've got a dancing happening. It's walking, it's leaving. And probably if you slowed the lathe down real slow, pedaling speed, and you watched it, you could actually see it walking around, and both profile and elevation, you see some walking going on, and that'll give you a clue as to what's happening. But if you head it up to 600, 800 or more, your eye might not catch it because it become a blur. Just you wouldn't see the movement. But all in all, that's when the presentation of the tool comes in. If it gets that thin, you can't present the tool as a gouge or a cutter. You think about presenting it as a scraper or a shear scraper, because you can't give it an opportunity for a sharp edge to find an irregular edge, because then it would find one and blow it up. Whereas with a scraper, it might bounce over or roll past it. Think about the mechanics of it when you do it. And people say, oh, God, putting a scraper in there. A good, sharp scraper presented what I call on a bias, which means if you go straight in with a scraper flat like this, it's biting. If you go in the scraper kicked up on the side to give it an angled cut or bias cut, it tends to bounce over some bumps and ridges. It gives you a softer cut, not an easy cut, just a softer cut. We tend to bounce off the ridges. It'll come back and cut them, but it won't dig into them. Just something to play with when you play with that. Now, if you're using carbides, they don't give you any gratitude. They don't give you any relief at all. They cut, which is good and bad. But remember, scrapers use a burnish or a burr, and carbides a square edge. Even the negative ray carbides, they're still square edge, and can be a little bit more aggressive than you want them to be. But remember, wood moves, and that's the beauty of this thing. I mean, our work would be pretty boring if we didn't get those blessings of what wood gives us. Really, I mean, some of the things we do, we rely on it. We trust in it. We want it to see. Today, I got in I subscribe to Wood Turning Magazine, and I do that through Amazon.com. I buy a subscription every month. I buy a subscription every month. We don't get anything here free, and we don't get anything by begging for it. But I don't really like the other big box magazine. I'm not into that kind of turning and stuff. I want something that's real. If I talk to you about something, I want something that you can go out and turn and make. And that's why I like Wood Turning Magazine. Always a good time. I got to find out what happened to the Duxbury crew. They're not in this.
Yeah.
You on vacation or what? What's the deal?
No, I'm in there.
You're in the one I'm looking at. I can't find an article from you, Jim.
Which issue?
I think it's 386.
No. 86 was back in
Well,
June.
let me see something here.
Gotta be 90,
Yeah, I'm sorry, 392.
92. Had a back scratcher.
Oh, the back scratcher is yours? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't notice your name. All right.
We didn't see the next one. No.
All right. But
Next was the spatula. And the next one,
Welcome, Gerald.
guess what? In April, I'll be a guest editor. You imagine that?
Well, oh, wow. Ooh.
Uh-oh,
Yeah,
somebody
It's
got to sleep at the wheel?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's a good magazine because it gives you some basics and stuff. and it teaches wood turning. It doesn't try to teach you art. Remember, art comes from here. And you can't get out of the book or anything. You got to feel it. But they got an article this time, and it's by Mike Stafford, and he's out of Britain. This is the article that isn't, and it's about boxes. And there's a couple now for you folks looking for things to get ideas on turning. Those are some of the boxes that we have up from Mike Stafford for turning. Look at that. Look at the pieces. These are all small pieces. And I mean, you need something to tease your brain? Look at it. Just sit
Those
and
look
take
like-
a peek.
Those look like some of the ones Cade does.
Yeah, this is some beautiful stuff, really. And I love it. I'm looking at it. I mean, you're talking about, I can't use the term scraps, but I'm talking about blocks of wood from the shop. And what kind of box can I turn? There it is. Little ideas on how to shape the lid, change the joint, color the joint, color it with a wire burn, or put a flare on it, or put a little nipple on top of it. My wife thinks that's cute that we put little nipples on top of lids. But and put rings in and such. And all of this work is done on a conventional lathe. Everything in this is done on a conventional lathe. There's no ornamental machines and no Rose engines or anything else involved in it. But it just gives you an idea, tells you a little bit about it, gives you some dimensions in case you need dimensions. But let them come out of here. You do better with that. But that's why I like Wood Turning Magazine. I get my subscription. Every month, my wife gives me a tap and says, "Hey, I got another $3.27 coming from Amazon," and that's what it is, $3.27 a month. Can you beat that? $3.27. It's right here. I take it. I get it on both my iPads, and it also I download it to the iPad at the clinic where I sit for treatments a couple of times a week, and all for that one subscription, and it goes there now. Printing, I have a way to print it from the iPad, but I'm not supposed to do that because it violates a copyright. But you get it in, it got some great articles and some beautiful references, and some of the weird things that you see that we churn here, and the art we churn out. This explains how to do it and gives you some more detail. And it got some gorgeous stuff in there. I mean, every time I get it, I keep looking for Joaquin and Howard King and a couple of other guys that will, that do this kind of work that comes up really cool. And so I get a couple of times there and say, wait, I know where that came from. And I know who started that kind of work. But it's beautiful. There it is. Jim Duxbury scratching with it. Scratches an itch by making a handy back scratcher. That's in this edition. See that? Whoop, get up here. That's
Hold on,
okay.
let me spotlight you, Eddie.
Yeah, that's Jim's article right there. And you see how detailed he get? Show it all. We'll give you all the details, how to put it together and everything, how to make it, how to glue it up, how to shape it out. You get that for $3.27 a month. Wood Turning Magazine. And I used to buy it at Barnes and Noble, but $9.95 for the paper. I don't need paper that bad. And I really enjoy it. And sometimes I'll get people call me and I want to explain it to them. I can take a picture of this and send you a picture of it. And it's just it's a great learning tool. If somebody said it would be my number one choice for a publication dealing with wood turning, it'd be right there. Wood dinner number 9, I'd give it another. You send you someplace else. But they have articles on adhesives, glue. Kurt does regular articles with them about tools and details and all. And it's really cool. I love it. I love it. I get fussed at because I'm not supposed to camp out at the clinic. And, you know, things, I'm done. I just sit there and read and read and read and read and read and read and read. And I think I throw my butt out. And my wife says, if I ever get this stuff pumped into my electric bicycle, I wouldn't come back home. But get out there and try to sort it. Mike Stafford's article about the jars is really, really cool. And I'm sorry I missed Duxbury's backside. I saw the scratcher. I thought it was another issue that I saw it. But it's a cool project, you know, and it's using up shop pieces. Which is another one. And I had what was his name? What was his name? Had a guy called me the other day about rabbits. And he was going to turn some bunnies for Easter. And we got in a big conversation about how to turn the ears. And I think I used something Duxbury, either Duxbury or Billy Burke said the other day is the paper glue 2 pieces and turn them as the back.
No.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Rebecca DeGroot has a YouTube video on how to turn bunnies where she does that exact same thing to do the ears.
That's it. I was explaining to him about that. And he said he saw somebody doing it on a YouTube. So maybe that's where he saw that, but he was worried about how to do the ears. And I said, hey, do the ears. You can also get the feet out of it and you can carve them. When they're put together, you can carve it out and then split them. And then the feet would actually look like they're, you know, like a pair. Which I'm like, exactly like Band-Aid Brenda. I can't do a pair of anything. Brenda, when I did earrings, they'd always have to be different. Because there's no way in the world I could get 2 of anything to look alike. So measuring spoons, that was out of question. So when I was thinking if I did the feet or the ears or whatever, then when I did them, they would match. You know, you don't want to have a bunny looking like you've been drinking all night. But Rebecca DeGroot, I got to look that one up. Because
It's already in the chat, Eddie.
Oh, great. Because it's a nice thing to do. We were talking about with Tommy today. He's got a show coming up. I love it. Just got him into this. He's already doing a show. And he's got a show, and I said, do some little rabbits. And number one, you're going to learn how to turn. And 2, you're going to have something cute to sell just before Easter comes up. And boom, that's a hit. And if you go into a family event, turn a bunch of little ones and make sure all the little ones get a rabbit or a bunny. Put their name on it. Put their initials on it or whatever. It's a trinket that makes them remember you. There's somebody put on Facebook yesterday that their daughter's bed broke and there was a ladder there, and they wanted to take a piece out of the ladder and turn a pen, and said, what's recommendations? 2 or 3 people said, don't turn it, it's pine, it's crap. And I said, whoa, put the brakes on. If you don't like wood, it's all right. If you don't like that, it's okay. Keep it to yourself. And I went back and told him, no, sharpen your tools, practice your strokes, take your time. And when you get done, you will have something nobody else has. You'll have a pen made out of part of your daughter's bed. Or you can make one for her and one for you, you know, but don't say it's pine, I can't work with it. Honestly, I don't think there's anything softer than my tools I haven't turned.
Hey, 3 of the picture frames I'm going to show tonight are made out of pine. I love turning pine.
I love it too. It's a challenge. Yeah. It is a challenge. That's why we have the 2x4 club. I mean, we didn't run and hide. We put it out front. We put it out front for everybody to see. It'll just prove to you that the wood doesn't make the turner. The turner makes the turning. And a good turner never runs from a challenge. If you have to, if you say, I don't have any good wood to turn, you're in the wrong world. Go ahead and take it on, grab the bull by the horns, kiss it on the forehead and kick its butt. It's just, you know, you got to go. So I answered, you know, do not throw it away. You know, go right to it and turn it, have fun with it. I've turned some ugly pieces and really wondered why I did it. But it was something I picked up and thought, well, let's find out. I mean, have you turned to MDF? You know, you can't turn to MDF. Really? You know, and that's medium density fiberboard or flake board or Stardust or whatever contractors call it today. If it's got a wood in it, I don't care what it's put together with, you can cut it unless they put it together with rocks. But then it's a challenge. But I was looking through it at different projects on Facebook that I saw, I think it was yesterday or whatever, and I saw a guy, he turned a platter out of a coffee table he had. And one of the first I started reading, I said, why would somebody cut up a coffee table and make a platter out of it? No, he fell on a coffee table and broke it, and he couldn't fix the legs. But it was a pretty piece of wood, so he made a platter out of the top of it. And pretty good use of it. His whole thing was, how did he hold it? And he was smart enough to put a backing plate on it and turn it and then take the backing plate off, which is a good move. I like that. It's a little bit after the top of the hour. Folks, you're at worldwidewoodturners.org. This is your wood turning club. And, you know, being your wood turning club, we got a couple of things going for us that some of the other folks don't have. Number one, we have the world's greatest website dealing with wood turning. We can brag on it all day long and nobody can deny us. We have a website that's unbelievable. Every single thing that happens in our meetings on our website, there's no secrets, really, and nothing sacred. I mean, we have so much fun for it. What do you think we call Band-Aid Brendas? We get on Jim Duxbury about things, and Matt's the art master of painting and decoration and things like that. We kid him. We're a bunch of friends sitting on tailgate talking about it. We got a tailgate that proves that. But recently, beginning of the year, we added a newsletter to this whole mess. That's right. Joaquin puts together a newsletter every other week. And I think next week will be a new edition. And he takes the photographs that you send him and articles and stuff. I mean, last week, Heather did a nice article on box elder. Really nice piece. And he's always looking for information that we put into it. You can write an article on a technique, a design, an idea, a plan, a program. You just give them the photographs, good quality photographs, 300 DPI. If you need more help on that, you can just write him and ask him. Oh, we keep his address a secret. It's editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. Big secret. Editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. That's where you send everything, and he'll get it. And if you want to be part of that newsletter, it's it. And then doing the programs, the meetings, you may hear us refer to co-host. Now, right now, we probably have 6 or 8 co-hosts online. Who are these people? These are people that just want to help with production of the program. That's all they are. They help us bring in guests, line things up. Dane has to pop on in a little while to give his cat a shot and take care of the family. And while he's gone, somebody else will step up and take care of programming details. And we cover things like that. And then we got the chat thing. If you got something to talk about, I asked about Rebecca and the thing with the bunnies just now. And Matt said, hey, I'll put it in chat. You know what it means? It means the information I want, Matt shared it with the entire club by putting it into our chat program. And you can download that chat. Just go to the top of chat, 3 buttons. One of them says save chat, save it. It'll save it up to that point. So before you leave at night, press save chat. But if you miss it, website's got it. Takes Dave, our webmaster, a day or two to put things together. And remember, he works by the hour, okay? And he works for free. Don't laugh. He does.
We pay him in wood chips.
Yeah, wood chips. And we can send him any colored chips we want because he's colorblind. So,
Yeah.
but Dave takes care of everything. He puts it up there on our website. And that's what happens with all the stuff. And the reason is, a long time ago, sitting with a bunch of friends at SWAT, I realized there wasn't anything like this that I knew of in the entire world. And I got a bunch of my old friends together and said, what if? And this is what happened. And all it's going to do is grow bigger and better and better and better with no politics and no dollars changing hands. Always consider that. There's no money changing hands at all. And that's why we don't have any advertisers and we don't do any favors. And sometimes I've heard somebody ask a week or two ago, why don't we get such and such to a demonstration? Because they're a paid demonstrator. They do it for a living and they get paid. They don't do without doing product endorsements. And we can't do something for a product endorsement. It would not be fair to anybody. So but we get around it. We got the best wood turners in the whole world. We haven't been short of having demonstrations. We'll have one tonight. It's kind of world class. All right. Oh, I see the Duxbury's are back. And he's actually, I see Boss Duxbury in the crowd. There she is.
You got it.
Where's she? There was she at? There she is. There she is. Boss Duxbury.
She's
Rita's in the house.
Rita.
Oh, Rita.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi, Rita.
Hey, Rita.
Hello.
I have to tell you, we have a guest tonight, Mary Aronson. Mary, are you in there? She's in somewhere. in
Mary,
there.
goes if you're there.
Hi, Rita.
Where is she?
That's Kelly.
Mary, where is she?
Mary's a new member that
Okay.
Jim told her about the site and she decided to get on and she said it was the easiest sign up she ever had to do. And her,
Is that her?
From Washington, DC.
Yep, that's
You're
Mary.
muted, Mary.
Great.
and also the Dakotas, I think.
And also the Dakota, yeah. Great to be here. We have
That's
some
great.
stuff to show later.
Great.
Wouldn't miss it.
Great.
Nice meeting everybody. I
Definitely.
look forward. What?
Welcome to the group.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, we got quite a list of gallery folks on par here, so let's go ahead and start looking at some of the wonderful artworks that's been turned out in the last week. So let's go with Band-Aid Brenda.
Hi, guys.
Brenda on ahead of Ruby.
Yeah, well, she
Oh, the head.
texted earlier in the afternoon. She's like, "Hey, I got something to show."
Would she call you in the middle of the night or what?
Basically.
Only before the meeting. This one I think you've seen before. This is my first mirror, I think it was.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, that one's done. Then I got another one. This one I think I did, but I didn't put the purple in it yet. You see that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Looks good.
Lovely.
Those are great.
And last week, after the demonstration last week, I did, can you see the purple in this?
Yeah.
This has got the pink actually, Hampshire sheen on it.
Cool.
Hampshire
Okay.
sheen.
Oh,
But I think most of it wiped off. You know, I don't see none of it on the handle.
Then
The
you,
handles
you nailed your handle.
Yeah, the handles are fitting the mirror nice too now.
Yes, that one's a lot better.
How did you do it?
Same way I did the rest of it. No, actually, you know what? I think this one, I might have, one of them I flattened off. Then I had to sand it down. Must not have been that one.
Nice job, Brenda.
Yeah. And then I made another one too, but my niece took it. Yeah. So then
You
I
like
made
the
this.
picture on it?
What's that?
You like the picture in it?
No.
It was a mirror.
Yeah. This one, it's not done yet. I ain't got done the back yet, but I'm still making picture frames. And I engraved on this one. This one I think was a piece of pine too. Maybe. I don't know. This one's got some spalding. I loved it. So anyway, this one's pine.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah. And it had some spalting in it. Look at that.
Little good not up there. It looks
that.
good.
Love
Looks
that
nice.
one. And then here's another one. It's got the
Look at that.
plastic in it. Oh yeah.
Nice profile on that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the ones that that I made flat. I made those flat so I can engrave on them or laser them.
Yeah.
And these, you know, I put a little profile on them.
They're really pretty. Those are
Good.
pretty.
I like those. And then,
It's a good ogie.
yes, today. Now I when Scott done the demonstration on the mirrors or the picture frames, right? He gave us sizes and all, and told us that that was as big as his cold gels went, right? Well, I found out today my cold jaws are bigger than his cold jaws. Yeah. So this one, it's got an 8-inch plexiglass in the middle of it. So the opening is almost about 7.5 inches. And this is another piece of spalted something. I don't know what it is. I found it underneath of a bunch of other wood under a table today. And I found
That's
2
really
pieces
nice.
of it. There's
That's a
gonna be
nice-
like 8 of these. So,
Good job,
and
Brenda.
Very nice,
since-
Brenda. That's a really nice idea.
since I made this one bigger, the inside piece was big enough to make a little plate.
There you go.
Good.
Yeah,
That's sneaky.
yeah.
And
Well, now
it's
I've got
bigger
like
than the
12
4-inch.
pieces or 18 pieces from these other ones, you know, but they're so small. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but I got to figure out something to do with them. Well, this one was big enough.
You can make some dollhouse bowls and
All house
plates.
plates.
Uh-huh.
Or
Or
coasters.
turn a
Coasters?
little, coasters, change, just a little change dish.
Yes.
Maybe necklaces.
Pendant, yeah. Pendants,
Yeah.
That would work.
earrings.
Because you can always
Crispies.
engrave on
Earring
it.
things,
You can
yes.
always laser art on them.
Right, right. Now we got it going. So we discussed before too. I had asked, you know, how to cut these things. Because this one I bought a big sheet. And when I tried to cut it on my bandsaw, you know, it just kind of cracked. So it wasn't cutting right,
It
right?
wasn't supported. Yep.
Well, that wasn't the issue. I took this sheet to my brother's and my brother cut it with a jigsaw. Not
Wow.
supported at all. We hung this thing over the edge of the table and cut it with a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade.
Bi-metal blade.
Or that's a smaller
Yes.
tooth. That's a smaller tooth.
Yeah, so fine tooth, jigsaw, no cracks, and there was hardly any, I didn't have to take the shavings or nothing off of this.
Huh.
Nice smooth cut. Problem solved.
Well, how about, so now you need to get a saber saw.
Oh no, I got a jigsaw.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I love saws.
Yeah.
I love saws. There's not a saw I ain't got problem.
You big cut up.
I got saws. So,
Brenda, you could do the same thing on your bandsaw by changing blades. Put a
changing
blade
the
in there
blade,
with
yeah, that's difficult to do.
8 or 10 teeth per inch, yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to do. I don't do that unless I have to.
If you have a scroll saw, you can use that too.
I was just gonna say that a scroll saw would be just great for you.
I did
Yeah.
have a scroll saw, but I got rid of it. I wasn't using it. It hurt my back to sit at it. So, yeah. So jigsaw works great.
That's good. Glad you sorted your problem.
Yep, got her all done. So
Oh, you had some
I think
great
that's it
pieces
for
there,
me.
Brenda.
What's that?
All right. You had some great pieces there. Well done.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, let's go over to Mr. Slaughter. Hey, Dale.
Oh, hi. Here's another sculpted bowl.
Beautiful.
This one's out of cherry.
Well, there you go.
Very nice.
That's
Nice.
really you're right.
Is that quilting in that?
Well, it's sculpted.
Looks like the grain though is like quilted or something.
Well, it's
What
got
did
a
you
little more
use?
grain. It's got a knot in it.
What did you use to sculpt it?
I started out with my rotary tool, and then I used hand tools, files and stuff to
Wow.
finish it. And then a lot of hand sanding.
I bet.
Lovely.
It's a nice job. You did a nice job.
Thank you.
Oh my, look at this one.
And then I got a little piece here that's not finished yet. I haven't put a finish on it. Reason I put all the holes in it is you can see the one spot where it blew out a little bit. So I
Yeah.
decided to play around with it.
Huh.
I drilled through it and put a whole
Nice.
bunch of holes in it, and then put my Dremel with the little one of my things in it and just went around and drilled out the
Wow.
holes more with different shapes. And then the color on the inside, that's an Hampshire Sheen intrinsic honey color. Outside color, I made ruby.
Well done.
I haven't
Nice.
taken the bottom off of it yet, and I haven't got a finish on it yet.
Nice.
And
Same.
earlier we were talking about, before the meeting really started, we were talking about I had a problem this weekend. I had a bowl blow apart.
Oh,
And thankfully I was wearing my Trend Air Shield Pro. This part right here hit me up here.
Forehead's got a big target.
Yeah. And I'm glad, and that's the reason why I recommend everybody wear a shield of a face shield of some sort, because if it hits you anywhere from here to here, at least that shield's going to protect you.
Did you have a cut in the, you had a cut in the side of the bowl, right? Did that help it? Yeah, okay. Or you caught the cut, yeah. I have one similar to that.
Yeah, I was stupid. I should have started trying to make the lines on the outside of it before I hollowed it, and I did it after I'd hollowed it.
Yep.
Started to do the embellishment after I hollowed it, and it was way too thin to do that, and that's why it blew up. Lesson learned.
Good
You know,
learning experience.
getting back to these face masks, you know, you don't have to get a very, very, elaborate, very expensive mask. I've been a welder almost 50 years, and all my days, I've always bought these masks. Believe me, I've had some big logs smack me right here. And this is where I live. There's Roberts Oxygen, places like that, and I get all my welding supplies. But you're looking at maybe $4 or $5 for the shield, and probably $15 or so for this. You'll change this, maybe a couple times a year. But
That's what I started out with, but I was
I have had a lot of things happen, and like I say, you don't need to spend 70, 100, whatever dollars. If people can't, this here, believe me, it's OSHA certified. And
Yep.
I'll put this
I
up
went,
against.
I
Even with
went to the
duct
Air
tape.
Shield Pro to protect my
Al?
lungs.
Hey Al, did OSHA certify it duct tape on there?
No, that there's because I'm cheap, and one side broke right there, and I just well, a lot of that was the dust too. Anyway, I have a dust mask, 3 of them dust masks. I don't do anything in this place without those 2 things for sure.
Well, I had a hard time with the dust mask fogging up my glasses. So I went to the Air Shield Pro. I'm much more comfortable with it. That was one thing I was willing to spend the money to invest in.
All right.
I just got to get some new tearaways for it because the tearaway's gotten pretty dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And you can buy the tearaways to keep your the actual shield clean. I just got to get some new tearaways.
Right.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Dale.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Kingsley. Dave.
Howdy. You're talking about great art. Well, this isn't it, but I managed to get out. I managed to get out and get a couple more bowls made.
Nice.
Looks
Very
fine
nice.
to me, Dave.
It is nice.
I like it.
Hey, just
Well, I
getting
got a
on the
lucky piece of
lathe is
wood.
good, Dave.
I got a lucky piece of wood, and this that was I think these were both maple. But this is a
Oh, wow.
Cool.
That's nice, Dave.
Embellishment, yes.
I like it.
yeah, my wife loves it, which is good because there's enough flaws in this that you can't see that I'm careful to hold it so that you can't.
Nice
did the
move,
same
Dave.
thing.
But she loves it, so
Rotate.
That
she
is
got
beautiful.
herself a bowl.
Beautiful.
And
Good.
besides that, I managed to get a small pile of rough turn cherry and out there, so I'm happy.
Cool.
Very nice.
Sounds
good.
like you had a nice week in the
Thanks, Dave.
garage.
Well, actually, these were rough turn probably a year ago.
Mm,
And I managed to finish them up this morning.
all right.
Great.
Cool beans.
Yep.
Well, take that as a win.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
All right. Let's go to Ruby. What you got, Ruby?
Say, Ruby.
Hey,
Watch out.
okay, I made a little box which doubles as a dispenser
man.
for my
Oh,
stamps.
that's cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So it just unscrews.
Your lid.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Well, someday it will. It's got a long screw that goes right down to the bottom.
Okay.
And it'll hold the roll of stamps in place.
Nice.
There's a nut at
Nice.
the bottom that holds the end of the threaded part of the screw.
Oh. I
That's
thought the
a
top
great
had
idea.
threads on it. I could do that part.
That's pretty.
That's pretty cool.
So it's practical as well.
Mhm.
Sure.
It is.
What's in the bottom? What's in the bottom?
There's a nut in the very bottom.
Okay.
And
Great.
then I was
Ruby,
given
if
an
you-
offcut piece of wood that a fellow didn't want.
Oh.
And it just had a lot of color in it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's pretty.
That's a beautiful piece.
That is really pretty.
Wow.
What
I
kind of
was
a finish
surprised.
is that?
And then I had another offcut piece I was given, and it's kind of a squarish bowl.
Nice.
I like it.
Oh wow! How'd you do that bottom? So okay, it's oval.
Okay, that's a knurling tool in there.
Okay,
Very
That's-
nice.
that's real. Cool.
What kind of a finish is that?
That one, I'm not really sure which one I used. I've been experimenting with some different finishes lately. So,
That's really
Just
pretty.
reading. I was just reading
done,
the
Ruby.
comments
I love
Billy commented, I want to be Ruby when I grow up.
I love the
Considering all my aches and pains, I don't think so. You want to be me.
That's good.
I got enough of my own. I understand, Ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you understand why these are called the golden years? It's because this is when you have to spend all the gold you've accumulated in the past years just to stay healthy and active.
All your gold leaves your pocket and goes to the doctor's pocket.
And the pharmacy.
Yep.
You've got it.
Yep.
That big bowl you got, Ruby, what kind of finish did you put on it? The real shiny
This
one
one?
you got there. Yeah, that shiny one there.
Yeah, I just put a lacquer spray on it.
Really?
It was an interesting wood because it took about 8 coats before it would absorb enough spray to cover all of it.
Wow.
It was like it had to be the thirstiest piece of wood I've ever encountered.
Yeah.
Love
That's
it.
No, the spalting makes it very thirsty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pleased with how it came out.
Heck yeah.
Well done. So hey, Ruby, on your stamp holder, if you was to make another one, would you use a coarse thread bolt next time?
No. Actually, I probably would use a coarse thread bolt.
Yeah.
Or possibly even just a dowel in the center.
Yeah.
And then just have this press fit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's a great idea.
It is so beautiful for a desk.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I could have made the bottom wider, but I didn't want to take up too much room because I've got enough junk on my desk already.
That's really pretty though. Great idea.
Just
Oh,
replace
thank
it with something else.
I'd
Right?
like to make a small version of it because I don't have enough money to buy that many stamps.
Yeah, but I don't have to buy them that many times a year.
Okay.
Like today, I used one just to mail off all my checks to the government for their anticipated payments for
Uh-huh.
March and July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't use that many stamps anymore after I found out you didn't need one for an email, so I'm good on the
That's
stamps.
right. That's right.
All right.
I still
Thanks,
like
Ruby.
to mail things out to people, like on
Yeah.
birthdays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a more personal touch.
Oh yeah, indeed. Indeed.
I pay
All right,
all my
thank you.
bills that I can online, as long as it doesn't cost me any extra.
Right.
I did
All right,
until I
let's-
found a few times I thought I'd paid it and they said I didn't. And I had to go through all that BS.
Well, I always save
Yeah.
my copies of my payments into a PDF
Yeah.
file so that I got it to prove it.
Yeah, I do the same. So,
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
okay, that's
All
it
right.
for
Let's
me.
go to
Nice work
Good
tonight,
job.
Ruby.
Beautiful work, Ruby.
Thank
Hey,
you very
John.
much.
Yeah. Here I am.
Yes, sir. We got you.
Okay. The mention of the back scratcher brought up the fact that I developed one several years ago that I've not seen replicated anywhere. I'm sure that I'm not the only one that has made one of these, but here it is. It's made out of a ambrosia maple. It's got some nice figure in it.
The quilting.
Wow.
The scratch part can be intense or not so intense, depending upon the size of these rings and the distance between the rings. So if you want one that's really intense, you'll make it a little bit broader and the ring a little bit larger. And if you don't want that much intensity, then you can cut it down.
So it's industrial grade.
Several years ago, I got a piece of silver maple several pieces, and they were quite large. And I left a couple of them out. I don't get around to turning all my wood when I should, and a lot of it goes to firewood, as I'm sure everybody has that problem. But this piece of silver maple was out in the weather, and it got bug infected and whatever. So I call this my holy bowl.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, you can see that it's been quite infected by the various types of bugs that get into it. These were about 2 inches long and about a ½ inch in diameter, so they made rather large holes.
Love it.
You could use that for a sieve.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, you could, but so
Dieter's bowl.
I got interested in buggy wood, and I had a piece of cherry sitting up in the out of the weather for probably 15, 20 years. And I saw it the other day, and I decided I'd turn something out of it. So I got it out, and I worked on this.
Wow.
Now this is all and provided by nature. I did not take my Dremel and make any of these inventions.
That is so cool.
Wow.
A little vase. So you know, I'm always surprised by what nature provides for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Love that.
And then something that is not as holy as that. I'm in the North Alabama group, and we've got a challenge every month. So I lucked out and got the piece last month, and now I have to supply something. So I've always wanted to make a square bowl. And so this is my square bowl. This is out of hickory. It had a crack in the bottom of it, and I filled that with turquoise. And the rim is about 3 millimeters thick.
Wow.
And I did fairly well getting it in the center of the piece. There's not much overlap here. Here's a little bit. I got carried away on sanding off the bottom, and you can see some places where my sandpaper got into the wood a little bit more than I wanted it to. But that's
Well done. Pretty
that's my
piece.
square piece.
Beautiful.
That's all I've got.
All right. Thank you, John. All right. We're going to go to a new guy that's overseas. Harold, welcome. We got you now.
Good evening. I'm just new here, so bear with me. AD, you were talking about boxes.
Yes.
I have one
Lovely.
Nice.
with the top kind of a
Yeah, very pretty.
Yeah, very nice.
Très joli, Gerard.
being in Ireland. We have the
Yeah.
Okay.
the Patrick's Day gong.
I know that guy. I went to school with them.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I tried a square plate.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The top is Jara wood.
Oh, nice.
What's the finish?
Anthracene gloss.
Okay.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Very pretty.
That I like that one. Okay, but
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Now
How did
that
you do
is
that?
it's the same.
Cool.
It's the same piece of wood. It's not 2 pieces. Just same piece.
That's cool.
How
That's
did you
neat.
do that?
Yeah, well, I
And
like
finally, that's
that. Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
finish-
the
awesome.
German smoker.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
I was-
goodness.
I was a chef. Even that stunned. I was a
Yeah.
chef, so with his
Even the
knife and
pots.
Done.
That is cool.
Excellent. Well done, Gerard.
Thanks.
Falcons, man.
Welcome. to the club, Gerard.
Oh, and
Great.
happy retirement.
Thank you very much.
Gerard, Gerard, how did you turn that piece that's got the separate piece on the inside?
That one.
Yeah.
We got that on demonstration on the W360. Don't remember his name. He made that. You clamp the tool there and you go, it's very, very thin. And you got 45 degrees on each side until you see it popping it. He did it on the plate. I tried on the plate, I broke the plate. So I tried it on something thinner and smaller and it worked.
Nice.
He calls them Saturn. He calls them Saturn bowls.
Yeah, Saturn.
That's it. That's it, the Saturn ball.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I've seen that.
Very
That's,
nice.
that's nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Wow.
I may have to try that.
If you guys
Alright,
want to
good.
see us, never mind.
I did that with the blade of a Stanley knife.
Okay.
It has to be very, very thin.
Very thin blade, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, thank you, Gerald, and welcome.
Thanks very much.
All right, let's go to Mr. Grinstead. Hey, Bob.
Oh, hey, guys. Yeah, hey, Gerald, did you use a paring knife? Is that what you said?
No, a Stanley knife.
Stanley knife, okay.
The blade of the Stanley knife.
Yeah, real thin blade. Okay.
Very, very, very thin blade, yeah.
Wow.
All right. This was my contribution to our latest group here, our wood turning group here. They wanted us to turn a manager's top. So that's what this is. It's just a little box. You can see the box and has a hole in it, and then you turn a top that sits in the box. So, so anyway, that was my manager's top that I had made. Found some brighter spot here.
Cool.
So it just sits on the desktop, you know. And then the other thing, I'm still turning bowls for empty bowls. This is not finished. This is elm, but it's got lots of character. Let me turn on another light here if I can. Yeah, maybe you can see it better.
Beautiful.
But they have lots of, it has lots of character in it. It has some spots right now that are kind of stained, but it's that CA. So once I put CA on it, you'll never see the stain or the color it put in it. But I'm waiting. It's not finished because I ordered one of the that website, the Empty Bowls website, has a branding iron that you can buy, and it was $5 plus $15 shipping. So I'm waiting for that just to brand the bottom of these bowls before I finish them, because I don't have to turn them in until the end of this month. So
that's pretty.
But anyway, that's it. This is for the Empty Bowls project here in North Tarrant County.
What is the Empty Bowls project?
It's not really an organization. It's a food bank here, North Texas Food Bank. And they have a Empty Bowls, I think, is the one that puts it on, but they have a what do you call it, an auction where they actually sell tickets like $100 or $150 for a plate. And you, of course, it's all a donation, but you actually show up and you can get, with this $150 ticket, you get your choice of whatever bowl you want. They make ceramic bowls, wood bowls, you know, anything. And then they have a meal, not necessarily in the bowl, but they do have a meal that goes with it. And it's just a way to raise money for a local food bank. And it's not just here. This is really worldwide. I understand they have it in the UK. And I know they have it in lots of different places here in the States. But when we, I think, anyway, Doug Miller had contacted the guy on his website, and he said it wasn't a nationally run organization. It's just called Empty Bowls, and they usually, meet up with the local food banks around. So you
However,
would
it is a
find-
national, however, it is a national organization, and I really don't want us to go into it anymore, because otherwise I'm going to break out the notes on what the organization, where their money goes at the national
Well,
level.
if you go to his website, it says it's not a national organization. It's all
That's not
local
true.
stuff. So you would go locally to your local food bank and see if they have any type of an option for bowls.
Bob, they file a 990 and they list out everything they do at the national level, and it's public information. So
Anyway,
so anyhow,
seems like a good
really
idea
don't
for
want
us
to go
or for
into
me,
it.
and I don't mind giving to it, and I plan on still making bowls for them.
Cool.
And that's a great thing for what you're doing there locally.
What did you find? What did you find, Doug?
Pretty much what Dane was saying. There is a national organization as far as registering and their taxes and all that kind of stuff. But the local organizations, if you've got one in your area, just check into them and check them out real good. Some of them definitely are doing some great work. Some of them are not. And so just check out your local organization.
Sounds good. Nice work, Bob.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
All right, let's go to Matt Harbor.
Alrighty then.
got
Well,
you.
I was doing a deep dive looking for some other stuff and came across a few pieces that you guys haven't seen. So I thought I'd show them first. So this is a vase I turned several years ago. It's cherry, and these were made with the lathe indexer and a platform on the banjo, and you all can see that it's fairly thin throughout. And I love the chatoyance on this. It's a real pretty piece of wood.
It is pretty.
You can see your computer in it.
What's that? Oh yeah, you can see.
Yeah. It's got shine.
So we're all talking about boxes. I've got some experimental little boxes going on right now. So this is just a little box I made to demonstrate a couple of options, how to do texturing, how to, it's basically how to make the box. But I also just did this today, and this is a thing called a concho, which is something brand new to me. And I got this out of a set that's on sale at Hobby Lobby right now. And then I went on to Amazon and started doing some looking, and you can find some sets of these things for pretty decent prices. So I'm going to be inserting a lot of these things in box lids very soon here. So they're all round, and they, like they're designed to go in leather. Tandy leather. If you want some upscale ones, Tandy leather has some really nice ones, but they're a lot pricier than the inexpensive ones I found on Amazon. But I mean, they've got all kinds of ones. So you can buy sets or you can buy single ones, and I'm pretty impressed with them. And they're going to go on box lids. Also, this is one I turned. This is a Harvey Meyer style box.
Beautiful.
So it's got OGs in it and some texturing, and it was an old piece of spalted maple of some kind that I had sitting around the shop, and some extra walnut I had sitting around the shop. And so this nub is the, if you can see the nub in there, but it's the walnut. It goes all the way through. But this is a kind of and this is based on a demo that Harvey Meyer did, and it's got OGs in it. And I really like the shapes of this box. So it's a good example box to show kinds of things you can do for boxes. So there you go.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Nice, Matt.
Very good. All right, let's go to Mr. Norton. Hey, Don.
Let's see. Hello, there we go. Yes, we did. So you can't hear me, right?
Yes, I got you.
Okay. I've got a box in the middle of my window there. There we go. First thing is I probably won't make it to the helpful hints and whatnot, but I've made something I like really well. It's got magnets on it. So you just, when I'm turning something, it's a place so I don't end up putting the tools on the bed of the lathe. So it's just a shelf that goes on the side of the lathe, and as I use a tool, or if I think I'll need it, I'll put it in this little shelf, and then they go to where they live when I'm done with it. So it just keeps tools handy because they're always in the way.
Nice.
That's
And
cool, Don.
so what it is you go to Harbor Freight and they've got these magnets. Magnets are expensive, but these have little hooks in them, and I just drill out the hooks, and each one of these is supposed to hold 65 pounds. And the same magnets that have the hole all the way through end up being about $10. So this is $5 for 2 of them, and it works really well. So it makes magnets inexpensive. And then I have been challenging myself. I'm not a real good turner, but I'm getting better. So one of the things I've done is I turn bowls that are thin wall.
Whoa, that's thin, all right.
So that's under, I'd say about a 1/16 of an inch, 1.6 millimeters. Number corresponds. Also tall ones. And these were green wood. So they're not anywhere as near dusty, because I made the mistake of doing it in birch, and it's nowhere near as thin, but it was as dusty as can be. But green wood turns really well, and I found that as if you turn it while it's still green and you get it thin enough, it doesn't warp too much. And one last thing, I thought, oh well, I've got a number of other things, but this I want to show off so that I don't blind you guys.
Yeah, you can see through that one.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
And it does. So the
Good.
light, it's all the same thickness, but because of how the wood reacts, it's not quite as transparent in some cases, and we don't want to blind you.
Gorgeous.
There we go. There we
Didn't you say I'm not a very good wood turner? Did you lie to us a minute ago? Was it you?
I said I'm not, but I'm getting better.
I'm looking at the thinness. Don't tell us that again, okay?
Well,
'Cause-
I still have problems. I mean, I made a
All right.
lid for a box. Let's see if we can show you. The box is pretty plain, but the lid is a junk piece of spalted wood I had sitting on the floor. But this is the lid. This is the bowl that I made to go with it, which is kind of a cauldron, but the lid fits in there, and that really sets off the bowl.
Yeah, beautiful.
Pretty.
And then, like I said, I've gotten better. This isn't anywhere near as thin, but I love the shape.
Oh, I do too.
I do too.
Pretty wood.
Oh,
kind of wood
nice.
is that?
It's
Pretty
just
wood.
beautiful wood. I wanted everybody to know I'm going to AAW in May, and the reason is my bride of 44 years, our anniversary is that weekend, and she said, "Hey Don, would you like to go?" It's the best anniversary present I could ask for. And
Heck
she
yeah.
doesn't turn, but she enjoys looking at it. She is like Eddie's wife who does quilts. My wife and I both go to quilt shows and look at them. She doesn't currently make quilts, but I'm sorry, it's artistry, and they're just things you get to see. So I hope to see some of you, if not all of you, there. It'd be nice to meet you all in
Right.
real life.
I'm sure there'll be a few of us there.
Yeah, and it's actually in my neck of the woods because I live in Seattle, or Seattle adjacent, and so Portland's just down the road. So,
All right.
but let's see.
Very good,
I
Don.
think I've shown you everything I have. I tend to be making dinner. My wife gets off work at 5. She's in the other room, and so when she comes home, all my attention goes to her because you know we're newlyweds.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Right.
So it's nice. I like I said, I don't make it to every meeting, but I did see last week's meeting just probably 3 hours ago, and I try to touch bases often, but daylight hours are where I tend to be in my office, where I keep the lathe, and
Yeah.
I retired a number of years ago, so I just get to play all
There
day.
you go. Good
Nice.
stuff, Don.
So that's it.
Always,
That's all I
always a
got to show.
pleasure.
Oh yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Safety Sue for our safety brief.
As you can tell, Dolly wants to give you the safety talk.
There we go. Yeah, I just put
Hi,
mine up.
darling.
She, yeah. Oh, thank you. Just moved from that meow. We're going to cover two things today. We're going to cover tool rest and stock and banjo safety. Banjo safety. It's a one-liner. Turn off your lathe when you're readjusting the banjo. Always. Tool rest and stock safety is basically to keep the stock tight. You know, always use that tail, your tail, so that it keeps it cylindrical, so that you know where the center is. And then just take it back when you know it. Just a couple of light cuts will finish what you're doing. Turn off the lathe when you're adjusting your stock. Turn off your lathe whenever you want to adjust your tool rest, up or down, in or out, or whatever you're going to do with it. Make sure that it is turned off. Too many people do it while they're while it's turning, and all of a sudden they put it too close, and everything becomes a catastrophe. So please make sure that you tighten your tailstock and your headstock. Make sure that that is tight as well. Do not use excessive pressure on your tailstock, and the reason for that is that it could mess up your bearings. So not only is it safer, it's also going to give the bearings on your lathe a much longer life. Don't put your tool rest too low, because then you're below center and you want to turn above center. So I want to thank Tom Kenny. He sent me a YouTube thing, and I have to learn how to retrieve it from YouTube so that we can show it. But it's a guy that put on, looks like a Beal buffing system. And he was standing right there in front of it when he turned the lathe on, and it immediately came off and went straight for his head shield and bounced off his head for a couple times, and then went wherever it went in the shop. But if when I figure out how to grab that, I will, and I'll show it to you. It was very interesting, but thank God he had a shield on. For a while there, I thought maybe that when it came off that it was because he started the thing in reverse. But when you look at the trajectory, he started it in forward motion. So
I got that video. We can play it after the demo.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
and,
I've got it. We can do a share screen.
Oh, good. So anyways, I want to thank everybody for your stories and how important it is to have headgear on, not only for your nose, but for your eyes as well. I know some of you will wash your eyes after getting out of the shop because you don't know how much damage you do to your eyes when you rub them with dry dust that you can't even see. So thank you for always thinking about Safety Sue. and have
Amen.
a great week, you guys. And I want to see you next week. Nice and bright and alive and well. Take care.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
There you go.
All right, thanks, Sue. All right, so tonight for our demo, we have Mark Soleil, the master of slicing, lined up. So we're gonna go over to Mark. He also has some items he wants to show off. Again, so like atypical for our live demos, it's Mark's demo. Unless he solicits questions or comments while he's demoing, let's please hold them until the end of the demo. That way the demonstrator is not interrupted and his train of thoughts not going sideways on what he's trying to do. So Mark, I am going to mute everybody and then you'll need to unmute yourself. Now you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now, sir.
Okay, let me get up out of my chair and we'll go at it. By the way, this is Casey Wilson. He's been on there before.
Casey. Hey, guys.
He's one of my best students ever.
Nice.
Okay, let me get up. Okay, you wanted something simple. So what I'm gonna do, everybody talks about me as the, you have to turn it around here. There you go, there it is up there. Okay. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna explain the difference between wood turning and wood slicing. It's very, very simple. All right. And I teach on 2x4s because the 2x4s will shatter if a student makes a mistake. And it's so soft and ugly to work with that if you don't make a slicing cut, it's going to look like garbage. So anyway, Sue just mentioned something very, very important right on
Go
her
closer,
side.
Casey.
And that was
Thank
the
you.
fact you can't have the tool go underneath the center of rotation. If it does, then it wants to suck the tool under. Just one other side note since she was talking about that. And that was for beginning wood turners, it's not smart to have a high-speed steel rod on your tool rest because it will not break. If a student gets a catch, the old cast iron tool rest will break and take the tool down. This won't break, it'll catch and it'll come up and hit you in the face. But anyway, so we don't go under. The next important rule is this. If the wood is rotating this way, the wood is coming into the tool. If wood comes into a wood turning tool, it will never, ever be sliced. It will always be scraped and require sanding. When you turn here, I'll demonstrate that. We're 90 degrees to the spindle, right? A, we anchor the tool. B, we rub the bevel. Then C, we bring the handle of the tool up. You can see this, feel my body, right? And I make a body triangle. I put my arm on my side here. I hold the tool off the end of the tool. We never hold the tool like this because it puts sideways motion on your hand and it gives you carpal tunnel. We always have a hand off the end of the tool because it's maximum level. So I make a body triangle. So we're not turning wood with our hands. We're turning it with the 4 motions of our head. A, into the tool. B, let the bevel. You cannot make the cut line when you move like that. Take tiny bite. And go back and forth with the body. Now, if we turn this off, we will see how that wood is torn up. See how that's torn up? Because the wood came into the wood turning tool. It's always going to be shattered. Now, if we turn around and we turn the tool this way, see this? How the blade now is lined up. It's not coming into the blade. It's in line with the rotation of the blade. That's when we transition. I'll make this round so that's when we transition. In the wood cycle. Okay, so you've got it round. Now watch. I'm going to take the blade, right, and I'm going to put it in line with the rotation. And when we do, A, we enter the tool. B, we rub the bevel. And now all I do is push the blade on the bevel down the wood. Can anybody see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, now there's no sanding required, even on a 2x4. So all your wood turning tools, if you want to slice wood, right, then whatever tool you have, the blade that you have must always be in line with the rotation. It's that simple. And the worst thing that you can do is use your left hand and push. You always have your tool, your finger, and your arm in line. If you stand back, you'll see what I'm talking about. You push. I've had a stroke, so I don't have. I'll have it down.
You can go in closer, Casey.
Anyway, so you can do that. You just have all your left hand will ever do is hold the tool down. That's its only function. Either that or use it as a fulcrum. Now, all wood turning tools are steered by the left or right motion of the hip. So if I'm pushing down, when I move my hip to the left, I get a B. If I move my hip to the right, I get a toe. And with the blade in line with the rotation, it's clean. Any questions on that?
Anybody have any questions? Now's the time to ask.
That's a great explanation. Thank you.
Okay, now,
Thanks, Mark.
all right, now we're going to go to the spindle gouge. All right, I use on all my architectural work and everything, the only thing I use is a 3/8 spindle gouge. It's the only tool that you have in your box that will allow you to make every cut in wood turning. There's only 5 shapes in all of wood turning: a bead, a cove, a flat, a disc, and a point. Everything is made out of those 5 shapes. That's the only ones you have to learn. And you can make all 5 shapes with your spindle gouge. And you can do them not quite so fine with a bowl gouge or even with a roughing gouge. So let's move on. And here's the explanation. If this is north, I'm 90 degrees to the spindle. Then when you enter the wood with the tool, if the flute faces the west, the tool must always enter the wood west of north. No exceptions. If the flute faces to the east, the tool must always go east of north. So I call this Bangor, Maine, or it's going to go to Seattle, Washington. If you cross it, if you have your flute to the east and you put the tool in like this, and the tool is to the west of the north, it's called a catch. You just cannot enter the wood violating that's what I call the east-west rule. You see people doing this. They put their thumb on the tool because they're trying to keep it from kicking back. Well, the tool won't kick back. The bowl gouge won't catch. The spindle gouge won't catch. Roughing gouge won't catch. If you follow the east-west rule, that's upon entry. Okay, so if I look at this flute, it's straight up and down. That's what I call 12 o'clock. Now this tool cuts either at 11 or at 1. But we always have to enter the wood at 12 o'clock. Let me move this tool rest down just a tad. Okay. So here's the routine. Right? I first say east-west. So now I'm going towards Bangor, Maine. Now I stick the wood at 12 o'clock. Once I stick the wood, then I can do what? I switch back to 11. Now I just push in. I go over here. I move my body. I now go to Seattle, Washington. I take a 16th of a cut. I stick it at 12, switch it to 1, and arc toward the center. 12, 1, arc to the center. This tool does not operate in a straight line. 12, 1, arc to the center. 12, 11, arc to the center. Now, if you'll see, that is no sanding required. It is absolutely pristine. But gee, Mark, what about this crap in the middle? I call that the whizzer. How are you going to get rid of that? Here it is. It's so simple, it's pitiful. Right? 12, 1. And I go to the center, and my tool is facing right toward the center of rotation. I just switch back to 12. I come in from the other side, I'm at 11 here. When my tool faces the center, I twist back to 12. And it's absolutely pristine clean because you can't even get sandpaper in there. See that? So we're going to make these tools work for us. If we know the physics of what's going on and how the tool operates against the wood, then these tools are just gems to have. But when people don't know how to use them, they don't know the physics of turning wood, right? They never learn the physics. They're always frustrated. They're always making stuff with rounded edges, right? They just don't want to do wood turning anymore because they get tear outs, right? They don't know how to resolve it because nobody ever teaches at any one of these damn stores, right? They want to take your money and, oh, let's make a bowl. But guess what? They never teach you how to make the 5 shapes. They never teach you how to use the 3 basic tools, right? And the instructor usually finishes up the stuff and makes the play pretty so they get their course value. Well, I don't do that, right? What I do is I don't teach all that stuff. What I do is I take all my students, and the first thing they learn is how to slice all 5 shapes so that they can make any damn thing they want without the frustration. Okay, so that's how, so we're going to go 12.
I teach them the 5 cuts so they can make any damn thing they want.
What?
Hey, you
You were-
guys, we can hear you.
Okay, so we're
be muted,
entering at
everybody.
12. We're entering at 12. We cut at 11 or 1, and we finish back at 12. But we can't go past 12 because then the top blade would hit the other side and be a devastating catch. Okay. So that's a basic V-cut. We use the basic V-cut to get rid of excess wood so that we can make a fine final cut. Or we use it to make a straight line shape on some spindle or bowl or whatever. Okay, so now once we have a place, watch what I'm going to do right now. We're going to do a cove now. Let me crank this in. Oh God, I got a curve on my tool. I can make a cove. Now look at the 2x4, all shattered. Why? Because we violated the basic physics rule. Wood cannot come into a wood turning tool. It can only slide. The tool has to be in this position to make that cove in order for it to be in line with the edge of the blade. So it takes 4 motions simultaneously to make a cove, because all coves, the tool must always end above the wood. In a bead or a V-cut, the tool has to end at the center of rotation. On a cove, the point of the blade always has to be above the wood when you finish. So I'm going to push the tool forward through my fingers like a pool cue, because it has to go forward when it's cutting. Right? I'm going to lean, and I have my tool on my sweet spot. I have to lean my body to the right in order to make the tool go to the left into the cove. I have to drop my hip to make the tool go up and end up above the wood. And as I'm going in there, I'm going to twist the tool so that I start on the point. And as I twist the tool and get to the bottom of the cove, the slice is going to be all the way down the parabolic curve of the blade. So here we go. Let me drop my tool rest down. Lock the heel of my hand. That's my pivot point. Let the tool go through because it only cuts when it's going forward. Okay, here we go. East-west rule. Switch it at 12. Twist to 1. Now, first, lean, drop, and twist. And the feet of tool point is above the cove. Now, let's look at both sides. This was all shattered, and that's, can you come over and get the, there you go. That's as clean as a pin. No sanding required. Okay, now I've got to do this on the other side. I have to now lean back this way because when I lean back this way, it pushes the point the other way. Here we go. Take a 16, 12, 11. Okay. Right. And twist. And if you see that little line, if I didn't quite join it, I have to go to the right side. And you can see how shiny it is. That's a sliced cove.
Well done. Hey, Mark, what speed you turning at?
Should be about 2,000. That's 2,096. This is just an 1.5 inch piece of wood. It doesn't make any difference if you want to turn slower. Okay, let's turn it. That's at 600. Okay, now watch this. See, that's just as clean.
Yep. And it's pine.
It's spruce, actually. But I usually turn at about 1900 to 2000. Okay, so now we're going to go to beads. Right? Check this out. Is this a bead? It's not a bead. What's wrong with it? Anybody know? A bead doesn't have a corner. That's why people can't make beads. In 20 years of teaching wood turning, I've only met probably less than 100 wood turners that could make a bead with 30 years experience because they don't understand the physics of making a bead. The physics are very simple. Think of the globe. We have an equator and we have a North Pole and a South Pole. If the bevel always has to be, on every tool that you have, if the bevel always has to be 90 degrees from the wood, then you can't make a bead if that bevel is not 90 degrees to the wood when you start. If I lay my bevel 90 degrees to the wood. When I push forward, then I don't get the corner on the bead. Like right here, I'd have to make a V cut. Now I have a place for my tool to go. Now I have to do what? I have to go over here. I have to lay my bevel 90 degrees. I still didn't get it quite 90 degrees, but you get the idea. And it's all sliced. Oh, Mark, I don't have to do that. Somebody taught me to make a bead like this, to put my tool up here and roll it down to the side. Well, if I do that, then if you look real closely, because this is shattered up here. The top of the bead will be shattered because what happened? I put the blade this way, and wood can't come into a blade, not to have it sliced. It's, see how it's chipped out in there? So
Yes.
then I sand the bead. Now another thing, if you'll, I'll just have Casey stand back a little bit now. If I'm right-handed, so if this has to be, the bevel has to be 90 degrees to surface, and then I come all the way around, then what happens? My tool has to end up way over here to be 90 degrees to the North Pole. So what I do is I have my students put the tool in the ending position. You leave this foot stable on the ground. You don't move it. Then you lean forward and you lean over, and then you as I come around, then I come back to the standing position. If I try to stand in front of the leg and I do that, then guess what? This handle has to come around through my body. So I have to either take 3 steps to get back here, or I lean over and I fall down. So that's it for making beads. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a flat. Let's say we've got little a spindle here. We're making a little ornament finial or something like that. Here's what they want to do to make a flat. They want to put their tool in here. They try to pull it with their left hand. Guess what happens? See those little lines? Can you see those little lines in there? Anytime you see vertical lines like this around your wood turning, that means you used your left hand inappropriately. Your left hand has nothing to do with wood turning, and for the left-handers, your right hand has nothing to do with wood turning. It only holds a tool down or acts as a fulcrum. So now let's see, for short, if you had a long chair spindle, you'd use what? You'd use a spindle roughing gouge or a skew or whatever. But if we're on a little tiny finger, then we put the heel of our hand on the tool rest, and it acts as a fulcrum to our body. We come halfway down the blade, rub the bevel, and I slowly rotate my hips, there's a little fuzz right there. Now, what could possibly cause that? It's very simple. When wood comes through a planer, if the grain is perfectly level at 90 degrees, you'll get good results both ways. But the way this wood came through the sawmill, the grain may be going downhill or uphill. Well, if the grain is this way, downhill, and I'm going this way, then what? I'm going up the broom fibers, and it's going to raise a little fuzz. If I'm going downhill, it'll be smooth. So if you're making a chair leg or something like that, the first thing you do, you find out which way your grain is oriented. And then you can make the cut in the appropriate direction. So now on this one, since it's going downhill, I'll do what? Now, there's absolutely no fuzz. So we always have to determine when we're doing something, which way the grain actually goes, so that we know which way to make our finished cut. Okay, so all we're doing, we're leaving our hands here and we're just rotating our body. Now, we don't do that for long things. Again, we use the spindle roughing gouge, or we use a skew. The reason that I use a 3/8 spindle gouge, because if I use a skew, then I have to change tools, because I can't make little fine coves and everything with the skew. Okay, so now we've done our beads, we've done our coves, we've done our flats. And what's left to do? Points and discs. So I'm going to cut this off. See how my tool goes through the center? Watch, if I try to push this, I'll flatten that out. If I try to push this straight, it's a proof that this does not operate in a straight line. It only operates in an arc. If I try to push this straight, boom. You see people will try to make bowls and make little tiny bites. And they're always doing this because the tool doesn't operate straight. As the diameter of the wood decreases, right, you have to push with the point of the tool, the cut line, and see how it goes dead the center. It doesn't go in a straight line and cut off. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to break that off so it doesn't fly. All right, so to make a point, I have to do what? I have to push the tool, right? So the cut goes into the tailstock, or if I go the other way, it goes into the headstock. The reason that people can't make small, fine things is because they try to do this. They try to push the tool across the wood. If you push your tools across the wood, they can't make like walking canes and stuff like that. They get all this vibration because they're putting force across the wood. If you always put the force into the tailstock, then the force is going this way or it's going this way. It doesn't affect the sideways. See this? I'm just going to push the tool down. I always push the cut line with the point. Then you use the lower blade to curl the wood away like a farmer's plow. Push the cut line with the point, you're always on the lower blade. See how clean that is?
Spotless.
What I'm saying is, you can start on all your stuff, you can start on like 400 and 800. And a lot of the things that I do in the demonstrations, I do the whole demonstration, get done, and I never use a piece of sandpaper. Now, watch what's going to happen. I have to make this into a point. And this is a soft 2x4. So number one, I'm not putting pressure across the wood. I'm putting pressure down into the tailstock. So we take, and I go down here. I have to bring the center of the tool to the center of the rotation. And when I get it right down here, I stop pushing physically. Now I look at the tool, and I look at the wood, and what I do is I think about it going forward. And if I mentally think about it, my body automatically responds. And it will eventually work its way to the point. But see, that's not good. What's wrong? It's not down to one fiber. So what we do is we do this. We just go to a little, all we do is put a fresh burr on it. That's it. Now, by putting a fresh burr on there, if I go down, now I just think about it going forward. I mentally move my tool. Now I can make a point. And everything is sliced, folks. I wish you could just be here and feel it. Okay, now we've got the last shape. So we are always on the bottom blade. We're never on the top blade. We always push the cut line with the point, just like the farmer's plow. The horse pulls the point in, and the curl of the plow curls up the wood and lays it over. And if you look where the plow just cut, it's sliced clean. Okay, now we're going to make a disc. We're at 90 degrees across the spindle. We're going to twist to 1 o'clock, the 1 o'clock cutting position. Now, if you can come over to this side. Okay, so we're at this position right here. If I go to the 1 o'clock position, then I'm going to lift, I'm going to hold this with my hand and get ready to squeeze this tool to the left. So it holds up on the left. Let me go up here. Okay, I'm going to make the cut. Now, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to squeeze with my fingers. Here, I'm squeezing the tool up against the left side. And this is the edge of the cut. So I'm going to put the point of the tool behind the edge. See if you can get directly this way. See where the point is behind the edge? And I've got it in the 1 o'clock position. So as I raise the handle, I squeeze to the left and just raise the handle. And even on a 2x4, it'll make a sharp, sharp disc. See that? Can you see that little disc, how sharp it is? Not a
Yes.
broken fiber on it. So when we're gonna make a little finial or something, let's just do this. Okay, I just made a little bead. Now I've got a little edge. So I can start making some discs. I come behind that edge, touch it with the bottom blade, which is in position of 90 degrees to the spindle and back at the 1 o'clock position. So now I just lift up my handle. From behind, lift the handle, squeeze left. Lift the handle, squeeze left. Lift the handle, squeeze left. I'm doing pretty good after having this stroke, Casey. But
I'd say so.
that's what we have. Now we have beads, coves, flats, discs, and points. The only 5 shapes known to wood turning. Now we can combine shapes. We can take a bead. Let me make like a curve here. Right now I can take a bead. And I can make a call. And make an OG type shape. You know? But anyway, that's beads, coves, flats, discs, and points. You want to see me? I'll do you one thing. Let's just take this. I'll just show you. We want to make a little finial. There's a flat. Flat, flat. It's not perfect, but the eye came back to 12 o'clock between figures. We come back to 12. Look how clean that is. Now I've got to make a V-cut here. I got to give room for my tool to go. So I make a V-cut. Then we'll join here again, parallel with 90 degrees. be inflated. There's a little square corner right there. Just do this. Let's do that in a minute. We got a toe and a bead. And we got a nose root. And turn it over to 12. And then you cut it off. So now when you go to cut off something small, you make a downhill cut. That's what I'm talking about. You make it downhill so that you don't put the tool in and it becomes a lead, because the wood has to go somewhere. See that? Now I'm going to go into there. Make a little downhill cut. Then I'll have to reach over here and hold it. There we go. And we make it, you can see where it's shiny. Not perfect, but I'm doing pretty good. So I don't have too much really good control over my hands since the stroke. But that's what wood slicing is about. And if anybody has any questions, they can. I have a series on YouTube. And if you'd like to see me do all the different bowl cuts, how to slice all the bowls so that you don't have to do the sanding, you can have finish it just like this from the tool. I can do that another night.
That sounds
That's
great.
pretty impressive.
If anybody has
Very
any
impressive.
questions for Mark, now's the time to ask, but let's not stomp over each other as we're asking questions. So floor is open.
What angle do you have on your bow? I mean, on your spindle gouge?
What?
What angle?
Yeah, bevel.
Bevel
What's the
angle.
bevel on your spindle gouge?
Okay, if you let me get something black here. Okay, here's something black. Now I have a regular parabolic curve on the front. And on the back, it's convex. It's not concave. That way, I can use all parts of the tool and have the exact same bevel. So I only have about 128th of an inch of metal that ever touches the wood at any one time. So I have ultimate control over the wood. I don't have any resistance. And all you do, if you want to do that, it's just, let's go to the grinder. Okay, if you use the very grind, you can put it in and make the curve on the front, because this makes a parabolic curve. Then all you have to do is see this. I start back there and I roll it. And as I bring the handle this way, I slowly make a convex. That's simple. And then you just join the back with the front and make a little curve. Or if you've already made the curve with the very grind, you can do that. But that's all you do. Just bring it forward and make it convex. That way, every little place is always the same bevel rubbing the wood. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else?
Appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. While we're on the thing right here, flip it around, show them the thing. This is my show and tell for the night. It's a wig stand. The AWG, they're donating a bunch of things. So, and the thing that I've incorporated in this, so that people know, right, is I have a light shadow line. I have a light shadow line. I have another little light shadow line up there. Then I use ball-to-ball construction.
Jimmy, let's get you into this wheelchair.
So that people can't see the joint. Up in here, I use ball-to-ball construction so you can't see the joint. And that's it. But make things, almost all the things I make are involving the ball-to-ball construction and light shadow lines. And if you want to see me, I'll do some of these demos here. I'll do the difference between your offset and your multi-axis turning stuff using one light shadow line that makes it really outstanding. I'll show you my signature for all my finials is on my hollow forms. I have a finial up and a finial down inside, all out of one piece of wood. And anyway, I have a lot of little things that I do that are sort of my calling card or whatever. But anyway, I like new things. Thank you all very much. Thank you
All right, Mark, thank you very much. And
this
I
is
think it would be great to see you do the bowl slicing cuts between side grain and end grain. That would clear up a lot of info for folks.
end grain and all that and make it really smooth. And I want to thank you all so much because as you all know, I had a bunch of stroke stuff here and I lost my whole right side. And it's very hard for me to do the really fine detail stuff that I'm used to doing. But I hope you can appreciate that I did. I'm proud of myself for doing pretty good tonight.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah,
Great
great
job,
job, Mark.
Absolutely.
Awesome job, Mark.
Thank
Even
you,
on
Demo,
your-
Mark.
Even on.
Thank you very
even
much.
at
Thank you,
your
Mark.
worst,
From a new-
you're
new
better
turner,
than-
that's a
than
lot.
The rest.
Thank you to the cameraman.
That
And
was
if, any-
fantastic.
if
Thank you,
anybody,
Casey.
if anybody's interested in coming
Yes.
to my shop, I'll teach out of my shop, one-on-one or maybe two-on-one. But I can't drive, so I can't be on the road anymore right now. And I have
That would be a treat.
three warehouses full of wood that I'm liquidating. I'm liquidating things.
Where
So,
are you?
I'm in
North-
Tucker, Georgia, 13 miles east of Atlanta.
Nice job, Mark.
Thank y'all for having faith
All right.
in me.
Thank
you.
Okay.
Oh, no worries.
still in-
It's
Mark.
good to see you out there, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like
And
they
thank
say,
you
when
again,
you need-
Casey.
When you need the best, you go to the best, and that's where we went.
Right. What do you think about that, Eddie?
Oh,
That was re-
I think it's great. I've always, Mark's the guy. Mark's the guy. He if you didn't pick up something just now, you slow. Because I mean, he's got the technique, and he can go to you, and you say, "Well, what do you mean by that?" You turn up and they'll sand it. You see, you don't sand your wood, you cut your wood. And Mark will tell you straight up, and he's a good demonstrator. He's coarse. Why? Because he didn't put his shine on it. There's no shine to put on it. This is it. If you do it wrong, it's going to come out bad. You do it right, this is what you get. That's what I love. I'm glad he came back. He kicked that ball. I mean, he really did. At one point, thought we were losing Mark, but he's like crabgrass. You can't get rid of him. I mean, but and he if you got a problem, you can call him. He answers the phone. He really does. He's a good.
Just make sure you got time to talk.
Yeah, allow for that, please. Because he is. He's a good old gentleman, great turner, and a good one of the good turners we go to here at Worldwide Woodturners. We go to our members for get demonstrations because our members show us the basic things. There wasn't a tool sold. There wasn't a gizmo or a gadget or what's it call it? No, it was right here. He showed it to you and he told you folks it was simple. He did some complicated cuts with simple tools. He showed you how to take simple tools, taking technique and your talent and turn out some beautiful work. And that's what we're all looking for. When I go to a demonstration, I don't want to see what comes off the lathe. I want to see what the demonstrator does to accomplish the work. I want to watch his technique, his protocol, how he goes about it. If he works too hard and spends too much effort onto it, I got to wonder if it's really worthwhile. And if he's always got the question look on, oh, what would I do next? I don't get that out of Mark. And that's why he's a great demonstrator. And last week, we just off the cuff said, hey, Mark, can we rely on you to do a demonstration? And boom, right there, he was back. He jumped up and said, oh, yeah, I'll do it. That's the kind of guy we want around. And we have them. We have a whole basket full of them. We'll do a demonstration each week, sometimes 2 demonstrations. And it's all part of what we do here. Now, one of our members earlier tonight said he wouldn't be here for the Gizmos and Gadgets week. That's coming up on March 13th. March 13th is going to be our share gizmos and tricks and ideas, tips and tricks show, where we want you to go to your shop or go back in your shop where you came up with things. And tonight we saw with a little magnet, little idea for your shop. Some things like that really work up, and what it does is get your brain going. And you think, oh, you know what I'm turning, if I could just go do such and such and this, that, and how would I hold that? We're going to come up with a whole lot of those on March 13th. That's that's going to be a dedicated program just for that. It's going to get into all these guys that turn for us and always turn for us. We got a handful of them. We probably got 20 guys that are on our repeat list that come back real often. And they've all got those gizmos and gadgets. And we're going to show them to you on March 13th, show you just how it happens and what they have in their shop, things they created. And there's nothing better to use in your shop than a tool that you have built. And that's why we like people like Mark. He just showed you a grind he did. He used a Very grind or any other brand grinding jigs when you make in your own shop. I have one out there on YouTube called the $2 sharpening jig. It's very simple, does a basic elliptical grind. But when you get that done, then you take it out of there and walk over to your grinder, just as Mark showed you, and you grind the back off. And you control your bevel, because the bevel's what you're creating and you get working to. And if you get that to where you have it, and people say, well, to what standard? Yours? Yeah, but I mean, how do you make it work? You make it work. If you don't like it, you adjust it a little bit. Don't go crazy with it now, because it's all steel you're throwing on the floor. But we're going to work to one standard, the one that you can work with. Don't worry about what the book says. Or some guy says, you got to do the 60, 70, 43 cut grind if you do this. No, you don't. And don't get fooled by it. Whatever you can do to your tool that makes it easy for you to work with, do it. If you got to go by what the newspaper says in order to live, you're living wrong. Go by what you can do with your hands and what you can understand. Because if you got to retrain these every single time you go turn, you're going to lose ground. So my favorite grind is the Ellsworth grind on that 3/8 inch bowl gouge. But then I relieve it the way that Ellie Eversaris does. He relieves the grind to be about the bevel to be about 1/16 of an inch long. I could do anything with that, really. And it's very similar to what Mark does. I took a Mark Soleil class once, and he picked up everybody's gouge, took it back to the grinder and reshaped them. I was upset because I knew what my gouge would do. I could do all those cuts, but now my grind was gone. I had to retrain myself to do it. Well, after the class, I went home and ground out that off and put it back like the way to my standard, because I was more comfortable. I didn't feel like learning a new grind, but mine worked. And what Mark did made it really simple for a beginning turner to understand, is that it's here. This is the on and off switch. Mark showed you that tonight. This is the on and off switch. You can turn it on and make the cut, turn it off. Make it on, turn it off. It's so simple. It's all right here. It's not this and all that. We're old. We can't move all them parts all that time. Just this. This is hard enough some days, right? Yeah, just this. And you can control the cut and grind. So what Mark did tonight, excellent demonstration. I wish we could do more of those in a series, just to show you that there's no magic. It all comes from right here, and you can really do good. We'll do a small gallery tonight, folks. If you got some things you want to show, if we've got some ideas coming across that came across the chat. And before you leave tonight, save the chat. That's important. And I do have to mention that the club does have stickers. You see, the club has no money. It is the way it is. We wanted it that way. There's no fee to get involved. There's no dues. There's no charges. There's no club fee. There's no magazine fee. We've got the best newsletter in the entire world dealing with wood turning, the finest website ever created for wood turning. And we do this each week. And all this is because we're involved in wood turning. Well, we went out and ordered some stickers. Oh, can I get these up? Yeah, just like this. Worldwide wood turners. They're 3 inches in diameter, and they come on a strip. And I can give you, I tell you what, I'll give you a dozen of them, or 10 to 12. Okay? And I'll put them in an envelope, a regular legal size envelope for, if I'm shipping them to the United States, $5 for the package. If I got to ship them outside the United States, I need an extra $1. And you send that to me. All the details are on our website, and send it on to me. Right now, the website says you can do it by PayPal. I got to cut that out. I just found out about what the taxes and the fees and all that stuff. So it's going to be, you have to send me the money.
So the taxes are null and void on that. And then, so it is not implemented for this tax year. They're looking at implementing it next year. And they've raised that from $600 to $5,000 before they go snooping.
And I tell you, every blink that, get out of my pocket. It's just, that's how I feel some days. And it's not like you're making money at it, but they have a chance to get money at it. So, but we have those stickers available. But I have a nice vest that I had for my Harley, and today we dropped it off at Embroider Place, and they're going to embroider Worldwide Woodturners on the
Awesome.
yeah. And the lady said, "Well, I need to have this template." And right there on the website, Here you go. Bob Grinstead had these 4 created for us, and one of these will work on your machine. The lady was amazed because they normally charge you like $35 or $40 to do that. And here I popped up and handed it to her. So, hey, Worldwide Woodturners just saved $35 or $40. And so we have that. And then if you wanted screen printed, we got a deal. Scott did that for us.
Yes.
And if you want to get something screen printed, we can get you send us the fabric, the product you want to have screen printed, front and back. And the deal, it's all in a newsletter. I mean, in a website. You ship it to us with the package you want to ship it back in and the fee. And we'll screen print it and send it to you. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. So we have that going for you. That's all we can offer right now. We're working on hats. It's on the site this time. This is our hat. This is one to ride on my bicycle every day. It's a sticker that is embedded into the hat. And this one I've wiped off with a damp paper towel to take the bugs and stuff off. No harm. It's been out a couple of weeks in the weather with me. It wasn't my chosen hat. It's one I wanted to have and find, and that details on that is available on our Facebook page. So if you look for it, otherwise email us and we'll give you the details. Right. It's pretty simple to do. You do it. You don't order it from us. You do it. We give you the decal and we give you the item number on Amazon. You order it, and then they'll ship it to you. It takes 2 weeks or so to get it, but that's what we're working to do. I told you about that. And I had a couple other quick notes here tonight, but we got
contact list. How do we reach somebody?
How do you reach somebody? Because I said you get a hold of Mark. Well, that's how you get a we don't have a membership list. Remember, we don't have any money. Okay, enough of that. We did this thing called the contact list, and it's pretty simple. You want to be on it? That's the number one question. If you want to be on it, you're on it. If you don't want to be on it, don't worry about it. But this is it. If you would like to be part of the contact list, go to the chat right now and put in what you like to have on the contact list. I'm going to put Eddie Castle on 330 Highway Drive, Jefferson, Louisiana. Here's my phone number. And really, I don't know my phone number. I never call me. So I'd have to go look it up. Then I'd put my email address. No more website. That got too expensive. But, all the other stuff I want about me, not commercial. And then I put that on there. And then, that webmaster guy I told you about earlier, Dave Rhodes? That character takes all that information and he adds it to a contact list. Yeah, he puts it on that. Whatever you give him, he puts on that list. And then say you want a copy of it. Well, there's a little button on it. Smart that it says member list. Click it, or contact list, click it, and then there's a blank you fill out. Fill out the blank just like it says. Don't ad lib. Exactly. The subject is captain, capital C, APTAIN, just the word captain. Okay. And type it in. You may have to wait almost an entire minute to get a response back from our website when you will get a copy of the member list updated to that moment. Yeah. You might not be on it if you just put your name up, but it'll be there quickly. And that's how you get the contact list. Please keep that between us. And that's why we have blocks and dots and stuff, and we have to type it out express. It's created, Dave Remember I told you this guy, he's a genius. He runs a freaking website. He created it to keep the robots out of our life. Yeah. So if you do this to keep the bots out, why do we want to split it all around? So that's how you get the contact list. And then if you have a problem and you want to chat with somebody about something, look them up on a contact list. Oh, there it is. There's David, and he wants to, I want to call him about something he talked about tonight. Or if I want to send a message to Matt Harbor, or, Billy Bird's got this going on, I can get him. Or Matt Miller does these, Doug Miller does these shows on Tuesdays on the internet. All that information is all on the contact list. And that's how you get it. That's how we share information. That's it. No sales, no promo, no money. It's beautiful. It was a great idea and it's working for us. If you'd like to have any more involvement in the club, guess what you got to do? Ask. That's all. There's no high. There's no high. Trust me, we'll get you. We haven't missed a chance yet.
We like delegating.
Everybody that likes to volunteer, get involved, you're there. Nobody drives the bus. It's not like, well, we can't do that because what's his name will get offended. If you behave and listen to the rules, you hear. And the rules are pretty simple. They're the same rules you got when you went into kindergarten. Be nice, make a friend, and come home with a smile. I don't think we can get any simpler than that. And for me, it works. I love it. 10 after the hour, it's about time to do a little more gallery. I'm sure somebody out there has turned something they want to show this week. Am I right?
We got quite a bit more gallery, but I'm going to do a screen share so we can watch this safety video of this person.
Oh yeah, right.
With the
I can explain to you how you can do that. So I'm going to get hold of you and let you know how you can do that. We're going to do a little workshop on that kind of stuff one day. So what we got? Go ahead. It's all yours.
All right, give me a minute to figure out how to get to.
Right. I left for a little while. I had to go walk the monster. She's back.
I hope you're talking about a dog or something.
The monster? Oh yeah. She's twice her normal weight, like me. But she keeps going to the door and looking out for Mama. Mama should be in for dance school in a little while. So she's out and keep an eye out for things. Well, she's hungry. She's looking for something to eat. All right.
Sure.
Hey, don't forget, if you got a photograph of a piece, we saw a new member tonight. The cook, the French cook. We saw he showed us some pieces, and right off the bat, I saw our editor throw a note there. Please send me a picture of that for the newsletter. Yeah, folks, you see this art that comes up. We want to see this, and it goes into our newsletter, and it is getting to be one of the finest newsletters in the entire industry because it shows simple woodturners doing beautiful work. And we share stories and tidbits and tips and tricks. It's a fairly new entity for us as to have a newsletter of this type, but we're growing into it. And boy, we got a great editor and he's loving his stuff. And folks, he's bored. We need to overload him. Send it on to JJ. We really want to see what you folks turn. And beautiful work is easy to work with. So, are you set up yet, Dane?
Well, I'm trying to find it. You know what? Okay. Look, one more spot. No, it's not there.
All right, keep going.
I will get it figured out, and we will show it next week.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
It's a really telling video. A guy's got a big block of wood. He's got it rounded.
Hey, Dane.
And, yeah.
Do you want to try to keep looking for that, and I'll go to the next gallery?
No. Okay. We'll just do gallery, and we'll do it next week. But it's it's a how-to of not to use a worm screw, you know, because there's limitations to the size of the stock that you use a worm screw on. So,
Okay.
Well,
but yeah,
that
we'll
one
save
I
it
was
for next.
referring to was with the Beal buffing system.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't have that one.
Okay, either way, we'll see what we can do next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So next up for gallery, let's go with Billy Burt.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Hey, Billy.
Great. I get to follow Mark Soleil.
Well, somebody had to.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, well, the first thing I want to, this isn't returning, but I'm kind of proud of it.
Oh my goodness, it's beautiful.
I designed it. It was a flat piece of art that had a whole lot of more detail in the feathers, and so I spent about 10 hours cleaning it up and breaking it up so I could make it layered. But that was fun, and I kind of like it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, thank you. The next one was, I think we have, it was either Gary, Papa 1947 on YouTube, or I think maybe Jim did something like this in a bowl from a board.
Oh,
Where
Yeah.
you set the board, you laminate some wood together and you make it,
Yeah.
flatten it so that it's at an angle. And so this is a bowl from a board made from my newest thin parting tool. It works like a dream, by the way.
Great.
But this is walnut and oak. And that came out pretty cool, I think.
I think it's really
Nice
neat.
job. Super job, yeah.
This was just a test piece. It's only and it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And you could really hear how thin the bottom was when I was turning the bottom. That's one. And I just finished this one this morning. Some of you have seen bits and pieces of this going up on my YouTube channel in shorts. This is a piece of ash juniper. I turned it into a cylinder. I was going to make a vase out of it 2 years ago, and I turned it into a cylinder, and I ended up with this. You could see all the way through it. It had an inclusion in it, as juniper often does.
Right.
And I didn't realize that there was an inclusion on each side, and I didn't realize how deep it went. And I got it turned into a cylinder and realized it went all the way through, and so I set it aside. I didn't know what to do with it, and I finally decided to pick it up and turn it. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick here at the rim, and I don't know if y'all can tell, but it's like 1/16 of an inch right in through here. It's not. I was watching the tool, because you could see through it because it was spinning. And I was watching the tool as I went down, and I was thinking, okay, I'm staying pretty much the same thickness all the way around or all the way down, until I stopped it and realized that this was pretty thin. But it held together, and I'm thankful about that. It's weird, when I started sanding the inside of it, it decided to start cracking on me. It didn't crack the whole time I was turning it, but it cracked here. You might can see that one there where it cracked.
Barely.
And and this crack went almost all the way up. And,
Billy, when you were turning the inside, did you wrap the outside with cellophane?
No, I did not. And the bottom's nice and shiny too.
When I do pieces like that, that's what I'll do to help keep it together.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I didn't wrap it with tape or anything else either. And I don't have I haven't made my steady rest yet, so I couldn't use that. And it wouldn't have helped anyway with these boards.
It would have been fun.
The inside is nice and smooth. I got it. There's no ridges. It's pretty nice. I didn't get the bottom quite as you might can see, I didn't get the bottom quite as smooth as I'd like, and I apparently need to put some more lacquer in there because it soaked it up like crazy. But I'm happy with it. I still need to buff it out, but this was a challenge, and it was fun once I could breathe again.
It looks beautiful, man. Looks beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Good job.
Nice job.
Billy.
Thank you.
Nice job, Billy.
All right. Thanks, Billy. All right, let's go to Mr. Hales. Roll Tide.
Yeah. Well, our club had a challenge for the month that was jar lids. And I've been out. I haven't been able to get in the shop much because of my back lately, but I went out, turned a jar lid out of walnut with a plastic insert and a maple honey dipper, and then matched the top.
There you go.
To the dipper.
Oh, that's
made
cool.
a knob that looked like a honey dipper also. That's all I got tonight. I hadn't been in the shop much last 2 or 3 weeks.
Now, I ain't going to confuse anybody down there in Alabama if they buy that and they use the wrong end for the honey dipper.
Yeah, it's a honey dipper. But the challenge was to make jar lids.
Right.
So I added to it the honey dipper.
Yeah. Well, I think you did well on that.
Yep, looks great.
Plastic insert, the thread, what turns on?
Yeah, inserted. You get them at Walmart. The plastic jar lid for ball or mason jars.
Yeah. Okay.
And I fitted inside, and then glued it and cleaned up the edge a little bit. So it's got a plastic jar lid that'll seal in it. And it's going to be interesting to see Saturday what some of the other guys came up with.
Right
we had
on.
mallets last month. We had almost 40 different mallets showed up for show and tell.
Wow,
that's great.
That's cool when a club does that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Mr. Duxbury. Hello, Jim.
Evening.
Hey, Jim, keep them occupied. I got to go do the insulin shot for the cat.
Oh, you got it. You got it. Take your time.
No,
Get all
Jim,
kind of
those
stuff.
voids are way too big for coffee grounds.
You think so?
Yeah.
I had to put that in there.
Take your time.
Anyway, I've been making these offset chucks, and the smaller one, I used the one-way stronghold, the big jaws, so I could make a much bigger one. And instead of making this thing with a saw cut in it and springing, I put dowels between it, so it's actually doweled together, and it slides, so I don't have to worry about breaking it. I'll break it now. I don't have to worry about breaking it, and I can turn much bigger things. This was a bowl. I can put a bigger spigot on the end of it, and this way I can turn a bigger.
That's neat.
Well, that's done on that's one center. It's only moved about a half an inch, but that's what the half an inch is the difference between the OD and the ID of this thing.
Oh,
It's
I like
amazing. It's amazing what you can do with it. And then I wish Joaquin was on here. He's an instigator. He started this. But anyway, this is 3 cylinders turned at 120 degrees difference. So they work their way around the piece.
Cool.
It's all one piece.
All one piece, yeah.
Yeah.
And I ended up with a base with this big tenon on that fits into this thing. This is actually on the end of here. And there's no way to reverse check this or grab it or anything to turn that off. So I made a base with a socket on the top and the bottom, a recess on the bottom. So I could turn that, I could then mount this and glue this into the base and finish turning the outside. It really worked nice. In fact, it's kind of neat. You don't have to take the tenon off your piece. You just make another base with a socket in it, stick it on there.
Cool.
Good idea, Jim.
Really cool, Jim.
Yeah, but I really, it was either that or carve it off, but this is the same kind of thing, only it's at 180 degrees difference.
Joaquin's on.
Joaquin just came.
Oh, he's an instigator, is he? Where are you, Joaquin? Anyway, he started this.
And they've been calling back and forth.
And we've been calling back and forth. We had a bunch of stuff going, I'll tell you. But anyway, this is the same kind of thing, and I ended up with that big base on the end of it.
How did you support that while you were turning the offsets?
Yeah.
It's got a big tenon on it that fits in this chuck.
How about the tailstock end, the opposite end where the barrels are?
You can actually, when you put this off center, this becomes center. So you can actually put something in here. Actually, what I did is I drilled a hole. You can only drill one of these. You drill this first one and then turn it. And then you offset and drill this one over here and turn that. And then go back and drill this one and drill the bottom one through here.
Okay, okay.
But even on this one, once you've got the hole drilled, you can leave the drill in here as a support from the tailstock.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, what you have to watch is your Morse taper with the drill chuck and the drill can come out. So you've got to put a through rod through and a wing nut on the end, to hold it into the tailstock. The drawbar, yeah. But
Jim, I'm on my third one.
What?
I'm on my third one.
You're on your third one?
Yeah.
Did you use a big chuck, one of my chucks, or the other one?
I didn't use the big one. I'm the 1 3/8 hole.
Okay, this is a 2 1/4 inch hole, and it's got much more. You didn't see. I just showed this bowl. This has got a 2 1/4 inch tenon on the end, so I can do an offset.
Yeah.
That's a pretty heavy piece.
Okay.
What do the numbers represent on your chuck?
Oh, well, it depends what day it is. The black ones, the black ones are 0, 1, 80, 90. Those are divided into 8 segments. The green ones are 30, 60, 90. They're divided into 12 segments. So on this sort of thing, on this, I use the black numbers because I went 180 degrees. And on this, I use the green numbers.
Yeah, 36.
These are 120 degrees.
Right.
I had one I broke, and I can't believe I did it. I got this one done, and I was turning this one. And you know how you do stupid things? You could hit yourself in the head with a tool. I came out of this sideways, and I clipped the other one and busted it right in half. I couldn't believe it, but anyway.
Very cool, Jim.
Lots of fun. But that really works to get rid of a tenon. Make a base with a socket in it and leave this base in the chuck and then glue this into it and then finish turning on center. That works beautiful. I'll do more of that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Great
Yeah.
job, Jim.
That was this really works now with the dowel in between it.
Chunk variation.
Yeah, this is like version number 873, I think. Yeah, writing articles is kind of fun, but I'll tell you, you get this thing and you think, oh God, this is great. And you write this article, it's really terrific, and you get it published. And 2 days later, you think, oh my God, if I'd have put this over here, you know, the whole thing would work better. And in fact, on this version, I actually did another bowl, and I put out a revised chuck for it. But that's a stop. This goes between. You take 2 jaws out of your chuck. When you take 2 jaws out of your chuck, you can slide this into there, and then this stop hits the side of the chuck, and you drill a hole in here. So this is on dead center. And then when you want to go off center, you just slide this like this. And it's intuitive because you can see how much off center you are right here. And then the mandrel, that whatever's in the middle, turns. So once you go off center, like with this, once you've gone off center with the first one, you don't have to slide this sideways anymore. You keep the same offset, loosen it up and turn it, and then you're on center for this to make this one. And then you loosen that up and turn it again, and you're on center to do this one. And that's why you have the zero over here, but then the first center would be 120 degrees, would be this one over here. And then the second one would be 240 down here.
240. Yeah.
So you put a mark across the base of the tenon so that you know where to turn it on.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
That's it for me.
That's it, Jim?
That's
Thank
it
you.
for me.
Right.
Is the cat all serviced?
Yeah, he's all happy now.
Oh, it makes him happy or not.
Oh yeah, he knows what time it is. He'll come to the door and start pawing at the doorknob when I'm outside here. Even though I've got an alarm to make sure I never forget.
Really?
But he'll be there waiting for you to, because that sugar goes down and he knows he gets that magic little shot and he gets a little treat and then he starts feeling better and he can be rambunctious again. All right, let's go to Mr. Davis. Hey, Leonard.
All right, how you doing?
Good.
Jim, you just blow my mind every single week. Being a new guy, I'm amazed.
No.
And Mark, I wish I had seen you 2 days ago. So I've actually had a few extra days off this week, so I played around a little bit and kind of did a few different things this week, nothing similar. So played around. I kind of broke the end off. That's why it's kind of a little bit thicker, but I really could have used the information you showed me tonight on a few of the items. And made a top. Same thing. I had so much trouble with trying to cut it, slice it, whatever you want to call it. Came out it works, but it's not really the way I wanted it. And then I turned the box again. This one came out pretty good for the most part.
What's the wood?
These are all out of a tree that fell in my backyard. It's an elm tree. That's what all of these ones were out of. And then I turned something a little bit different. So Thank you, Billy. As a home improvement contractor, I always have leftover wood. So I actually had a piece of poplar left over from a custom shelf that I made. So I turned, it kind of went through. So I put a worm screw on here, put it on, turned it. I did this specifically because we have a local crafters
Good night, Dave.
consignment shop. So I can buy various things. So I bought a bunch of these, literally still has a tag on it for $10. And I made this specifically for this, and it barely moves in there, and it's going to get glued in there for a hot plate.
Use silicone.
Yeah.
Use silicone as the adhesive.
Nice.
So
What's the material, Leonard?
This is actually a piece of poplar.
And what's the insert?
This is granite or
Oh, wow.
marble or
Okay.
something. But I can buy them dirt cheap. For me,
Yeah.
I think they're dirt cheap. So I have a half dozen of these sitting around the house. We use them as hot plates. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to make something to go with it.
Well done.
Dress it up.
Yeah, that's
I like
a
it.
wonderful idea.
It's a great idea,
So
right? Yeah, that's inspiring right there, Leonard. How about that?
thank you.
It is. What else you got?
That's it. Like I said, I actually had a couple
That's all
extra
we get
days this week.
huh?
Yep,
All right.
that's it.
Well, good job. Good job.
Thank you.
It's enjoyable to watch how your turning has improved since you've been here.
You know,
Indeed.
I don't always get the chance to go down there every single week, but I try and get an hour or two here and there. But this week, kind of in between waiting for the next job to come up, and so spent a little extra time down there.
Well,
There you go.
looks
Nothing
good.
wrong with that. All right, let's go to the original Roll Tide. Hey, Howard.
Hey, Howard.
Hey. Well,
Still
I
nothing
thought you
there.
already called me a while ago, but I didn't know. But I got this
Wow.
thing here. I'm not sure if you could drink out of it or not. You had to have long arms. But this is dogwood, and I got this. This was a limb that Dr. Sal gave me, and so it had a 2 limbs coming out, a crotch piece, and so I was going to make a crotch piece out of it, and so but it was too long for my lathe, and I cut the wrong end off, so I cut the crotch piece off, and dumb me, So anyway, I was left with this, and so anyway, this is supposed to represent, a fire, campfire coming up, smoke,
Cool.
Nice.
flames coming up,
Yep,
and
I
then
see it now.
I can see
it
that.
reaches here to a point of I don't know what this would be, but anyway, it comes up here to the top. Then I use gold leaf paint here for the inside.
Building. Nice.
So
Yeah, it looks good. It's got quite a reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
and it's got a natural edge
Wedge.
bark on it. But anyway, it's dogwood, and so I messed up, so this is the best I could do with it. So anyway,
Well, you did it justice. We couldn't see the crotch, so that looks pretty damn good there.
yeah, it's 27.5 inches long.
Yeah.
What's the art on the
And-
stem?
Pardon?
What's the art on the stem? Is that colored in or did you carve it?
It's topography,
That's awesome.
Stefan. And so I don't know, can you see that? Can you see it?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I-
very cool.
Oh,
I love what you painted on the bowl of the cup on the outside.
oh, on the outside.
Yeah, that's
cool.
really pretty.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
And
But
that's
anyway,
an awesome piece.
what I did, of course, you start on this end, working back
Thanks,
towards
Mary.
and I used a detail spindle gouge on the whole thing. So, as I got back here kind of far, I put little wood scripts, you know, these stirrers for coffee, long,
Yep.
about a 1/4 inch wide and about a 1/16 thick.
Yep.
I put those around here to tape. Of course, I had this mounted in a cone on the tail rest. And then as I worked back, I took this off and put longer ones in here to help support this part. And of course, because, you know, you couldn't turn this as it is, be whipping out and break probably. So anyway, that's the way I proceeded. So eventually I had 2 or 3, you know, supports coming across towards the back. Anyway,
Nice idea.
Any questions or?
Looks beautiful.
Thank you. I guess that's
You're
it.
gonna do it. Are you gonna do another one?
Well, if John will give me another dogwood limb.
No, there you go. Hit him
All
up.
right.
I'm sure he will.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
thanks, Howard. I appreciate it. It's a beautiful piece. All right, let's go to Mr. Miller.
Well, howdy.
Doug.
Howdy
Doug.
do. Hope everybody's doing good. Just a couple things, but everything's processed this week. Today was supposed to be a day of finishing things up, and I've been lazy. That's all there is to it. But anyway, you're gonna say, what in the world is that? You may remember the saga of my wedding band. Who knows where it is? That's the new one. There's a stainless insert in there already. There again, if you can hold it, you can turn it. Double stick tape on a glue block. Very simple. I already got a tenon on the back, and it fits in my jaws really well. This is issue number 4. The first 3 I was drilling them, and my glue block, I didn't realize it was dished out slightly. So when I pressed my drill bit in, it broke it was breaking them across the grain. So this one's been done on the drill press. So anyway, yesterday was doing my thing, and I came up with this little jewel. I had seen a blue vase on YouTube and decided I wanted to do a blue vase. So I turned this one, and this was again, like Howard was just saying, this was a crotch piece. So I end up with a couple of little small voids. And that got to be a little fun as that was spinning around, and I was trying to get the very bottom of it done way down there. So anyway, it's almost finished. I've got just a few more coats of lacquer to put on. This was dyed with midnight blue intrinsic stain. That was sanded back, and then sky blue on top of that. And it's got like 3 or 4 different colors of blue that you can see. It's got a little bit of green that you can see a little bit there on the screen. There, especially toward the bottom. That's just the color of the wood reacting with the stain. And so it came out real nice. Got a little hand sanding to do on the inside. I'm going to get a stick. Once I'm done with all the outside, I'll get a stick with some sandpaper and go to town on it. And then basically just part off the bottom. Still got my tenon on it. This was pear. So anyway, that's what I've done this week.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Very nice.
Well, thank you.
All right, very
Thank
good. Thanks, Doug.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Craig. You still here? Going once. Craig, you still
Yeah, I'm
here?
here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Good.
You have me muted. Hey, y'all.
That's your-
At least I'm not the only one with dogwood tonight. We had a dogwood tree that died last year, and I cut it down. I finally got around to working on this piece.
Wow.
It actually still needs to, for its final finish, but it's got 3 coats of sanding sealer on it right now. I like to try to leave a lot of the natural stuff, and even this right here, that's the chainsaw cut with some of the white paint that I used on the end, because this was one of the end grains. And I've been doing so much of the filling with coffee grounds and key filings and stuff like that. I decided this one here, I wanted to try to leave all of the voids, and one real good one right there. Cause this, speaking of worms, this one also had a live worm in it. It was about 2.5, 3 inches long and about 1/2 inch in diameter. But yeah, see if this helps.
Okay.
I wanted to leave it so that actually, that's one reason why it's
Night
not
wall.
as thin as I would like to. But to try to get the appearance of a little bit thinner, I tried to flare out where I could on the top to give it a
How thick is
little
the
bit.
bottom?
I'm sorry?
How thick is the bottom?
The bottom is about 3/4 of an inch, if I remember right. It's a little bit more than I was wanting, but with this triple split right here, I was getting a little concerned that I might have a blowout or something.
Oh.
The more I do, the more experiment I'll do and go further each time. But that was the dogwood.
Yeah, well, you kept it together.
Yeah.
Looks good.
What else you got?
Yeah, another thing on the bottom though, another reason I couldn't go much deeper on the bottom was this side right here.
Yeah.
Because it prevented me from getting too deep in without cutting a hole in that section there.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's actually all I got this time.
It would have looked cool though. Would have looked
thank
cool
you.
if you went deep, if you went deeper, and then you would have had that cut out there. The rest of it would have held together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, everything I do.
Some of the weight out.
Yeah, yeah. But so everything's an experiment. I'll go
Yeah.
thinner next time, but I was just wanting to make sure that I didn't go and blow something out. Each time's another experiment.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you learn each time when you put the tool through the wood.
Yes, sir. But that's
All right,
it. Thank
all
you.
right. You're welcome. Let's see. Heather, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Got her.
You got me? So I've been making more of these little beaded bowls.
Oh, nice.
So cool.
Got some more here and another one here.
Wow.
I
that's
really
about-
like them. Those are pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about 4 of them I have done now. I have a powwow that's coming up in June that I have to have a lot of native stuff done for. So I've made those, and I've done a lot of beaded earrings and stuff to go with them. I made,
Yeah.
I think you saw this on, I was asking questions on how to get rid of some scratches on the sides that I had.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
I had pictures on the web. This is ash.
That's
It's the
gorgeous.
first time I've turned ash, so it turned out all right. But there's a few cracks in it that I had to fill, but didn't turn out too bad.
Nope.
Full shine.
I got rid of the scratches. I haven't signed the bottom yet, and I still have to put a finish on there and sign it. So, and I didn't realize it was show little boxes today, so I made a little box this week. This one there.
Gorgeous.
Nice.
It's an
Very
inch
nice,
and a
Heather.
quarter. It's an inch and a quarter wide and an inch and a half tall.
Very good.
Yeah,
It's a
I
little
saw
oak
your
box.
YouTube video, Heather.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and the grain matches up. I can't believe how much the grain matches up in the top. Can't quite see it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well
It
done.
is.
And to match that, I made a little bowl.
Little base for it to
Very
sit in.
nice.
A
Oh,
little
that's
bowl.
cute.
Yeah.
Put beads
Now,
in
can you
it.
actually use it for a hard-boiled egg or a soft-boiled egg?
I think you could. Yeah, it would fit.
Yeah, I guess
Would
with
fit
the
perfect.
size of eggs today. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Even the extra large would fit in that.
right.
Yeah. That's it. That's what I've been
All
doing.
right. Well done.
Perfect.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks.
Let's see.
Good job, Heather.
Yep.
Thank you.
Looks great.
All right, let's go to Gary. Gary? We got
Okay,
you.
I'm with you now. Unmuted myself, okay. Our club had a small challenge. You were given a 2x2x2 block and you had to make something out of it. And that little box that you made was gorgeous. Anyhow, I took 2 cubes and made a little bell. Now the bell itself is 1.5 inches, and the handle, which is Purple Heart, is 1.5 inches. So I cheated a little bit. This is mesquite. I'd never turned to mesquite, and boy, I love it. But
It is.
never.
It's great.
And I don't know if you can hear it, but it rings really nice.
And what did you use for the bell?
Just a jingle bell from
From the Christmas tree.
Michael's. I think I got them at Michael's. But and the mesquite really gets a nice ring. And I had, we have so much stuff done with birdhouses that I made a little birdhouse, and it's about 1.5 inches, and it had just a little hole and a perch on it. I got to see if I can find some little itty bitty birds to glue one on the perch.
Hobby Lobby.
Okay, I'll go up there and take a look. But again, this is just a little itty bitty thing. And I've never turned small little things, and turning small is harder than one would think it is.
Yeah.
And then I had I
No.
don't know if you can see that very well.
Yep.
I guess you'd call it a mushroom box. It's a box, and it was turned out of a 2-inch piece. And I got the top a little bit too big, but it came out real pretty, and I kind of like it.
Nice.
It looks almost like a mushroom because it's got when I finished the bottom, I noticed that I had a little bit of a flat side on here. Didn't think what I was doing, and I took that flat side off. Well, when I took the flat side off, it changed it so it wasn't the same size as the top, but it came out looking okay. And then I tried turning a 3-corner bowl. Now I made one and it came out real well. But this one didn't quite make it. I hate to say it, but I was on one of those one more cut things, and as I was going down into the bottom, it just broke apart, came out. But I really enjoyed making the 3-corner bowls. This one is about I don't know, 1.5 inches big, tall, but piece broke out. But I'll work on getting better at it. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Very good, Gary.
Gary, let me show you this. Little bird.
Yeah.
I got these at Hobby Lobby.
Yep. Those are the ones I got too.
Yep.
Okay, Hobby Lobby. I'll be sure to go by.
Yep. They are a scaled 1/12.
I also put another Amazon link in the chat for birds from Amazon too.
Oh yeah, I see it there. I see it, Matt. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
they both work well. Yep.
You can get them at Michael's too.
At Michael's, okay.
You can get them at Brenda's also.
Yeah.
12 of them.
And Walmart.
No, don't get them at Walmart.
No, that's where you shop it. All
Yeah.
right. That's it for gallery at the moment. So and we're at the top of the hour. Let's go back to Captain Eddie for a recap. What do you think, Captain Eddie?
I think it's great. I see we always had 5 recommendations to go. Don't go to Walmart. Don't. I like that line. Go to Walmart.
Hey, birds are birds, you guys. Come on.
Yeah, no. My wife said she likes Walmart. Good, go, fine. But we had an interesting. We had like 5 recommendations of places to find those little birds. look for dollhouse decorations when you look for that. Because remember that they got to come down in size, really down in size. But look, I know where Gary's at. They got mosquitoes big enough to fly into that thing, Gary, where you live at. I've been there. And in fact, they got mosquitoes big enough to carry that birdhouse away.
That's true.
Yeah. So, look close. But we had a great meeting. I mean, tonight, what I got out of it was we had old seasoned turners and young turners all come together at one time, and old turners telling you just how it is without gizmos and gadgets and everything else, and new turners saying, "Oh, I wish I'd seen that yesterday," because that's just what it takes. And when I was teaching, my thing was slow the lathe down and watch what that tool does. No magic happens at 3,000 RPMs. It really doesn't. It happens at 1 RPM. And it happens when you present the tool properly and then watch it cut. If you have to, you slave roller that slow, find yourself a slave or a helper to stand there and just turn your flywheel for you by hand. Yes, by hand. And then just watch your blade, your tool, whatever it is, do the cutting. And when you watch that cutting, you'll understand what is happening. It's slicing the wood. Mark Soleil had it in his hand all the time, slicing the wood. We all hear the word gouge, especially the roofing gouge. Oh, look at the roofing gouge. Did you see the cuts he made tonight with that roofing gouge? They were slick as glass. Why? Because he didn't gouge. He sliced. And it's beautiful. When I was turning ink pens, I could go from soup to nuts on an ink pen with a roughing gouge. Really, knock it down, trim it off, bust it out, and finish it all one tool, one pickup. None. Why? Well, I would change the presentation of the tool to suit what I was cutting and slicing and moving, and use the bevel. And if you practice that, just pay attention to what the tool does. And don't worry about the end result. You don't have to have something come out. Mark tonight said he turned on 2x4 earlier than what Mark was talking about. I was speaking about a guy that said he wanted to turn an ink pen out of a piece of pine from his daughter's bed that broke. And some people on Facebook said, "Oh, don't fool that. You I hate that. No, it's a challenge. Do you know we have a 2x4 club? Our 2x4 club is a challenge to members to turn something out of something as simple in construction lumber as a 2x4, a really poor selection in lumber. Why? It really has no integrity for even for what it's used for today, but it slices terrible. It cuts terrible. If you can cut it and slice it and get it into a good material, a good finish, you know how to turn wood. So Mark said, I turned 2x4 because it's good practice. You should too. Try that. Try some pens or bottle stoppers, or just turn a dowel or two. Just get out in the shop and play with it. But play with it the intention that that is your finished piece, and we'll teach you how to do it. You got any questions or tricks or ideas you want us to help you out with? All you have to do is let us know. By the way, our newsletter comes out next week. It comes out every other week. Next week's a new edition. And Joaquin's collecting photographs and articles and pieces from who? You, our membership. This is your newsletter because this is your club. It's all free and it's part of the worldwide wood turning experience. It's something we wanted and it's happening. This is number 229 meetings at this time. And we have a ball, and we always find a little something to talk about. Next week, another great demonstration coming your way. More gallery, more tips, more tricks, more ideas. And next week we're going to have a special safety minute. Besides having Safety Sue out of Tampa to give us our safety moment, we're going to have a little presentation to go along with it. But we want you to be safe when you get out in your shop. Before you leave tonight, save the chat. Go to it. Hit save the chat. That's what Donald tells us from Australia. We picked up a couple of new members tonight. Nice to see you folks aboard. Hope you come back with us next week. Until then, I want to bug out for a little while And Dane he took care of the cat, so everything's fine. And we're going to sit around and talk for a little while. And I want to see what you come up with, because now is when it gets interesting. All right.
Informal. Let your hair down.
You know, hair is way overrated. But we're gonna
sawdust.
Yeah, like sawdust. Yeah, I mean glitter. All right. So remember, folks, you take care and you be good. And if we can help you in any way, let us know if you want to be involved. We like it. And if you need it. If anybody asks you what this is your woodturning club. WorldwideWoodturners.org. Not another one like it in the world. Y'all take care, be good, and on the words of Safety Sue, be safe. I'll see y'all next Wednesday evening right here.
Save the chat. In the words of Donald, save the chat.
Save the chat.